Someone's fucking DJing right now.
Yeah, it's
Are we good?
Quite bottom all that. It makes me feel.
All right, guys, what is going on? Welcome to the Faction After Hours podcast. We have a pretty special one here today. Aside from the normal crew, we have local celebrity Front Street Josh.
Don't do that.
All right.
Oh no, we're not doing that.
Probably already got the air horns going.
No,
and
but
shit.
we have a guest today. We got Josh in here of Front Street, and everybody was telling us when we asked who do you want to see on the podcast, they said Josh. So now we have him here. If you haven't tuned into the chat, now's your opportunity to ask some questions too. We're gonna engage you guys today. But yeah, today is all about Josh. I personally have just been following Josh.
That makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It's all about me.
Like I just like I feel like
He's good at
we've
it
been
though.
following
Makes you feel like you're on
following
Z100.
Josh for a while. Like I follow what you're doing. Like it's dope shit. I like all your cars. Your driving's dope. But today I kind of want to ask, like, you know, just like everybody else, where did it kind of start, and like what you have planned for the future. So that's kind of how our conversation is gonna kind of go today, I think. But yeah, so
Check it out on the YouTube.
Frankie's doing a plug for the YouTube. But where did it start for you? Like, did you do the same thing that everybody else did? Was a 240 your first car, or like where did it start?
For me, like, cars have just like gone through like my entire existence essentially. Like, you know, my family's into cars, my dad's into cars, so I like grew up like with American cars and whatnot. So it's kind of how it started. The 240 thing, that started initially, weirdly enough, like when I was younger, I wanted a Mark III Supra because like one of my family friends had one, and like that was kind of like my first taste of like import cars and like firsthand experience. So I was like, all right, sick. Like, you know, I would entertain that idea, but I ended up not going through with it. I want to say the 240 thing, the first 240 I got. Do you remember the game Need for Speed Pro Street?
Pro Street
Yeah.
with Ryan Cooper.
Pro Street.
Yeah.
That was the weirdest
What year
Need
is
for
that?
Speed variant there was, I
Yeah.
think, right?
I didn't really know like anything about. I mean, you know, I played like underground and shit like that, but I never really paid any mind to like 240s. But like in that game, I was like, oh, like this car is like kind of cool, and like I used it as like a drag car, like funny enough. So I don't know. I just started looking into them from there, and
How old were you then?
when I kind of just first figured out
Yeah.
that I thought it was sick, like 15, 16.
Okay. So it was earlier than me.
I didn't know shit about 240s when I was a kid. Like
Yeah,
I didn't
me either.
I didn't know anything about it. Like I knew Honda stuff. Chris, you got me into the 240 thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's crazy you started from American cars. So you never owned an American car then? Or have you?
No, like not like a like modified American car or anything, but not till like later on till like I got my truck and shit. But
Yeah.
yeah, no
So
American cars.
Your first car was a 240.
My first it was my second car. My first car, like when I got my driver's license, was a Maxima.
Oh,
Oh.
shit.
I had a 92 Maxima.
Is that the Vince? Is that Vince's in Fast and the Furious
No,
1?
it's
is it?
no, it's the gen before that. Like the more, not the square body, but not the like fully boxed out one, but it
I think
like
it's a
started to round
VG or
down.
something in there.
Yeah, it
Oh
was a
my
VG.
God.
VG,
God
best engine.
Damn.
Team
What?
No Hezzy.
It is the best engine.
Oh, you actually, I remember having this conversation on the podcast. You like the VG30, but the
It's
turbo one.
reliable.
Yeah, that car did like 140, no problem.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, and that's probably still like the fastest I've gone in a car.
I feel like you share a lot of those videos.
How fast?
140.
In the Maxima?
Yeah, dude.
Team No Hezzy, baby.
Team No Hezzy, cutting it
Yeah.
up.
Don't people modify those things too? Or is that the one before it?
No, the one like Vince, they started like modifying those, and then
Okay.
like from there on.
Because that was
it
a
has
VQ.
like the VQ, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, there's that scene in the movie where he does a burnout, and that's like the only thing I know about Maximas is that when I was a kid, I was like, that shit's front wheel drive. It's just weird.
Yeah, no, the car's sick.
All right, but okay, so you got into Japanese car 240s after looking into Supras, which by the way, was it a turbo one? Your neighbors
Yeah.
or your family?
Yeah, it was a one. Like now that like I know like what I know, it was like a non VVTi 1J, like with twins. Yeah,
Okay.
That's a 7M.
yeah. I remember it was yellow. It was on lowering springs, non VVTi 1J, like Mark IV Super wheels. Like, yeah, no, it was like sick car.
Fuck. 'Cause
And also, side note, you were big into skateboarding too, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Do you still skate? I don't know. I don't know if you still.
Not as much as I would like to.
I think if I tried to skate right now, my ankles would just exit the
You
chat.
could definitely make us all look like idiots, though. So
Who?
still, Josh.
Josh?
Like if
Could
we
you
were
kickflip?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. You're,
like
you're
he-
Tony Hawk in my
yeah.
eyes, dude.
Yeah,
Fuck.
literally. We were talking about this
We were
the other
talking-
day too. How
I think-
Scott, you remember that event? Scott got on a skateboard and just started like shredding it on the ramp. You guys,
Yeah.
at E-Town.
That was
And
like
he
when
was-
we first put it together.
Dude, he was hammered, and he was just on there killing it. And we were like, what?
Just profusely sweating. He
Yeah.
was like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, type shit. Like, yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so you got the 240. What was your first 240? The one that you had for a while?
No, my first 240 I got on eBay. I remember it was like
Oh, you
my
told
first
me,
shot. Yeah, dude, I won it for like $1,000. I remember it says there like $1,025, and it was in the Bronx.
So you were in a bidding war with people.
Imagine
Yeah.
getting a 240 on eBay for $1,000.
That's
right now.
Yeah.
fire.
I remember it had like a little on the 200,000, had teen springs, AGX struts, a Pepsi exhaust, coil radiator, had wheels.
Did it
K.
run?
Yeah, no, it ran. It just was fucking rotted as shit. Like I didn't know anything about 240s. Like I didn't know what to look for. Like
You
I
didn't
just
have
had
any
it.
friends that were into him either.
No, not at the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know how to drive stick. And my dad was like, just did not care to like teach me at all.
That's
He
like
was like,
AJ.
he was pissed. Like
he bought a car that he didn't know how to drive. It was the same shit.
yeah. So my dad, we picked it up. We picked it up from the Bronx. He drove it back, and then like he was just like did not want to fucking teach me at all. He's like, all right, finally, like fuck it, whatever. So he goes to teach me like in front of the house, and the car stalls. There's like, dude, from the get, like 240 shit. It never turned back on. Never turned back on. We had to push it to the gas station because we're like, maybe it's got no gas in it. Like,
I know what's wrong with it.
yeah, like I didn't know, and that pretty much started from there. And then I was a senior in high school when I got that car, so I was like taking the bus to school, and then like occasionally they would let me drive it, and shit was just it was a piece of shit. Like shit was going wrong. Like I remember it had no clutch fluid in it once. Like this shit that like I didn't know. Like I'm just barely learning how to drive this car.
Did you have like mechanical experience at this point, or you were
no, like
But
So,
you could
just
probably catch him on
YOLO.
Zilvia though.
yeah,
Did you have the Zilvia account by then?
yeah, probably.
Cokie Crisp,
Yep.
best name ever.
That sounds like such a cool name.
Was it Cokie Crisp 180?
No, that was my first Instagram name.
Okay.
Damn, what was my? Did I don't think Zilvia was open for like
I feel like-
registration anymore. Like when we were.
Dude, I probably saw his Zilvia name before I met him, which is the.
That's
funny
how
part.
crazy the internet works.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
I know like.
'Cause I remember reading your thread, but I don't know if that was after I met you or not. But
No,
Alright, so
I
you-
was already like in that like for a little bit.
okay, so you get this car, you're working on it.
I pretty much learned like my dad like really didn't want to like teach me much. Like he was always like fixing it and he'd get like pissed off. Like I remember I'd go skateboarding. One time like I ripped on the car and out of nowhere it just like shut off. I was like, "Oh no." Like in the middle of like second gear like doing a pull and like just comes to like a complete stop, like rolls. Dude, like the distributor plug got like wrapped around the clutch fan and it like yeah, it like fucking wrapped around that.
It probably popped off and then.
There was no shroud.
I don't think it had a
There
shroud.
had to have been
I don't
none
remember.
because that's I
Yeah.
feel like it would suck up the plug that like.
I don't remember if it had a shroud or maybe it broke just from that. Like it just whiplashing.
Yeah.
But I remember like my dad like deep hitting that and like wiring it like on the side of the road like all pissed off at me like, it's like
So your dad's pretty good with cars.
Yeah.
my dad's like
Yeah.
savvy, so that's kind of where I got it from. But like he didn't really want to show me much at the time. There was a
Okay.
kid that I had grown up. I don't want to say grown up with skateboarding, but someone that I knew eventually that he had a 240, and he was always like buying and flipping cars. And I remember like to this day, like I still think the car is cool. It had like Orginero on it, had a 18-inch like XD9s, like over fenders, like
What
respainted
year
black.
roughly is this around? Do you
I
know?
want to say like 2008, 2009.
Damn, so early. Like
And he bought this car for like $2,000. I remember, like as is. I Remember
With the origin
just like
arrow and
as
shit,
is, like with the work wheels. It was like stock suspension, but it had like the bronze like 18 by 10 like work wheels. Like,
Is this the
all
same
this
car
crazy
that
stuff.
ends up in Texas at some point, or is that another friend of yours,
What?
or Arizona? I remember you told me about some kid that you grew up
Oh,
with.
my friend Carlos.
It's
No,
different.
this is like before
Okay.
that. Like, this is like when I started like getting a little more hands on with the stuff, and
Okay.
yeah, his friend shop was like kind of like in the hood and whatnot, and I don't know, he kind of just like showed me the ropes a little bit, like this like older like Jamaican guy. He's like, oh, like I don't know, like just like showed me shit. Like I remember like some of like the first things I did was my car was shark nose, and he had like a parts car. It was like a pig nose car, and like my seats were like beat up, like my interior was all fucked up, and like one of the first things I did was like swap the seats, swap the carpet. So I started like getting like familiar with shit like that, and then eventually the KA in my car ended up blowing, and then he showed me like how to like swap and do shit like that. But
Damn. So, okay, so you had a mentor.
Pretty
Kind
much.
of.
Kinda,
That's what I would
yeah.
call that.
Or at
like
least
some
somewhere
older
to mess
guy.
around with the car at.
yeah, exactly. Like I don't want to say it was somewhere safe, but just like somewhere to like like start working on the car. And
So like when did you start kind of so you got kind of more familiar with mechanical stuff? When did you start kind of modding it? Because obviously you have a rear wheel drive. You're in
I
your
think-
early 20s now, I'm assuming at this point.
no, I'm not. Not
even?
even. I'm like 18.
Okay,
like
even
18,
quicker.
19.
You're gonna want to
Yeah.
drift this thing, right? So
I
like,
I had no.
Go move the
That's
camera.
the best part. Like I had no interest in drifting at this point. Like none, like whatsoever. It
Oh.
wasn't until I was like 21, 22. Like from the get, like like going to like car meets and shit like that. I like bumped into people like in my area that were like into drifting, and they would peer pressure me. But I knew like from the get, I was like, do you need money to do this? And like where I'm working like part-time jobs. I'm in college. Like I don't have money to do this shit. Like a big deal for me was like trying to buy like used coilovers. Like I remember that was like always like a benchmark. Like I need coilovers. Like that'll
Yeah.
like make everything so much different.
That'll fix the whole car. What
yeah.
was it? Did you? Sorry to go back. Did
Yeah.
you buy the car for drifting? Or
I
because
bought the
you
car
saw
because
drifting?
I liked the car.
Okay.
I had no interest in drifting at
Okay.
this point. So
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people that like damn, I want an S13, right? Like
it was
now it's
popping then, but
nowadays.
like
Ford.
I mean, like drifting was like around, but I don't mean, and just got my license. Like I don't really know much. Like I know like cars and like just about like any make and model of car, but like I didn't like go into like the depths of the internet to find out like, oh, like this car drifts or like
Yeah.
any of that shit. It was just, I don't know. I just genuinely liked the way the car looked, and
Yeah.
that's kind of like where it started.
I could definitely relate to that on that level because when you had your 240 and stuff, I was like, damn, this shit looks cool. And I didn't know how to drift or anything, nor did I have any intention to. But then Wag said the same thing.
Well,
AJ
Wags-
said the same thing. Like they thought that drifting was this unattainable thing,
Oh yeah, yeah.
right? So like that's kind of like where you're going.
Well, and we said this on the last one. We were like, no one really thought it was obtainable until you went to Club Loose, and then you were like, oh, you can just drift. Like people are doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
That
guess
was
that
for
leads
us.
me to
These
my
kids
next
were like
question.
drifting on the street, like they were already like tandeming at this point.
Yeah.
Type shit. Like they weren't even going to the track.
Yeah.
Like Club Loose was around, but it still wasn't like, I don't want to say it wasn't obtainable, but it was just at the time when we were teenagers and like
So
just
that was
young.
still crazy to like go to a track and like do that.
Yeah,
To you?
it
Okay.
wasn't. It wasn't until I was like 21, 22 that like I went to my first Club Loose event.
Okay.
But what was your first drifting experience? Like, what made you go like, all right, fuck it, like I'm gonna learn
Yeah, that was one of my questions too.
like how to drift? Because I'm always curious like how people get to the level that they're at now.
Damn, it's like
like
I
did you,
haven't,
did,
like,
did you have
even,
one of those like one?
yeah, like I
moment?
haven't like thought that far
Thought about
back
it?
in so long, but definitely like Forza, like shit like that.
Yeah.
And my best friend Rob, he eventually, kind of got phased out with the skateboarding and then got into cars because of me. And then he had a 300ZX. It was non-turbo, and I don't know what made him like start doing it, but he was like, "Fuck it, like I'm gonna try to drift this shit." Like, and he started drifting it like with the VLSD. Like he'd always drift in the rain, and he was good. And
Yeah.
I think my first drifting experience, there was like this like weird like roundabout like jug handle type shit. And I remember he just gave me the keys to his car. He's like, yeah, you want to learn how to drift? Like, with like a guardrail around. I'm like, yeah, sure. Like,
Oh no.
and I'm like clutch kicking like straight into his guardrail. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like,
I can't believe they let you do that shit
Your
right there.
first
Yeah,
experience
like-
is a fucking on ramp.
no, it wasn't an on ramp, but it was still like mid-second gear, and there's a guardrail like on each end. Like, definitely not that smart. And now that I'm thinking about it, like the shit that we would hit shit during the day, like oncoming traffic, like real dangerous shit. Like, we definitely have clips of this stuff too. Like, I remember like being on the phone with him, like, yeah, like you're good, like, and he's coming down the side of the road and like just missing other cars. Like,
Oh my god, that's the
I would
that's OG
never do
takeover
anything
shit.
like that now.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Well, you were
So-
younger too, though.
yeah, like we really.
So
didn't
you can
know.
almost kind of relate to the takeover people
Yeah.
Hey,
because they're
yeah.
young. They are young and they're fucking around with cars in parking lots. I mean, he was doing like legit drifting, but he was still doing dangerous
Yeah,
shit.
I don't want to get into the takeover shit too
Yeah.
much, but
Obviously,
I mean,
we all
it
are against
wasn't-
it, but
yeah, I mean, early like in those days too. I remember car meets. Everyone had fucking 240s, and everyone was doing donuts and like
Yeah.
drifting. Like meets have always been ruined
By donuts.
by just people as long as meets have existed. It just happens
Yeah.
to be takeover people. Before car people were doing it, like they were ruining their own shit. Now they're just, as they've gotten older, now they have someone else to blame. And
Yeah.
we can all agree that like the takeover people aren't car people, but how many times back in the day have you gone to a meet and shit gets shut down
Yeah.
because someone's doing a burnout,
For
someone's
sure.
revving.
but not to the extent that they're doing it now.
no,
That's
now
the
it's like
wild
a
thing.
whole
Usually it would be
other-
like that one guy. You hear him start doing donut. To be honest, it was Dustin at one of the Edgewater meets. I remember. It was
Yeah.
fucking Dustin just starts doing donuts in the back lot, and
That was-
everyone's
Yeah,
like,
like-
"All right, we're
That
done."
was the only car every Thursday, right? Was
I
it
remember that
Thursday?
story. Yeah, every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
No, but those meets were pretty good. No one really fucked around.
The craziest
But
thing that ever
occasionally
happened,
someone fucked
every
around.
Tuesday we
Oh,
had
was it-
meets and they just always got ruined. Like
Like,
Yeah.
I think the craziest thing that happened at that one of those events that I went to. This is just a side note, is I think somebody got stabbed.
Yeah,
and then
probably.
we left. Never happened. I don't know if I ever went back there. Ever.
Yeah, but you know what we used to do, the Edgewater meet would get shut down,
and we
and
go.
then we just go in the back of Mitsubishi.
Yeah, we go to the back of Mitsu and then hang out over there because it wasn't really important to us to like be with the rest of the cars. We're just
yeah,
hanging
Yeah.
out.
that's kind of like what happened too. Like eventually, like with the friend group and whatnot. Like we would hang out at the meet, but we would park far away from the meet and far away from everyone. Like cars all look like shit, and
Yeah.
it didn't matter.
I think that's
Okay.
when I first met you, Josh.
So,
Was
I
that
think
at
I was
Edgewater
gonna
meet?
say-
Yeah,
Oh, really?
I've been there.
Yeah.
What year
I
was
think
that?
he brought. I was with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Were we
I
with-
think
is
that's
that when
when
we
we
met?
all went.
No. it was
How did
not
you
that
meet Frankie? Because
Frankie?
you live.
time. I was trying to think about this when I was writing these.
Unlike,
podcasts.
unlike the story with
I
Faction
remember.
yesterday,
You do?
everyone
Yeah.
lived like 10 minutes away from each other. You live pretty far.
I met him because he was like he had started Faction already, but he was like working out of his house, and I think maybe from Club Loose Classifieds, like I was looking for something, and he was like, "Yeah, like I can like get you this like new, but like you would have to pick it up." And I was like, "Oh, like whatever."
Oh shit.
And then I end up picking the part up from his house, and I remember when I first met you, I met Miyagi,
Oh, okay.
and I had my car, and then it kind of
It was probably like 2011 or 12.
Yeah.
So you had your 240 already.
this is my second one.
Maybe
at this
2000.
time.
Were you
Yeah,
street drive?
13.
Like, did you drive to Frankie's house with the 240?
When
Yeah, we always
yeah,
drove our cars.
That's.
Yeah.
I feel like if you pull up.
I
like, how
always
many
street drove
times
till
did
like
that
maybe
happen?
a year and a half ago, and then
Yeah.
it just kind of stopped.
Meanwhile, I mean, he still has an S15.
I was
So.
gonna say I
Still
Yeah, you
drive,
literally pulled
yeah.
up in S15.
SR20
Yeah,
for breakfast.
so-
You don't see those.
Oh, yeah.
That shit has me geeking every time. I'm
That shit is so good.
like,
It's like mad blurry.
You gotta follow Front Street on Front Street Josh on Instagram. Yeah, that's what it is.
SR20 for breakfast.
I
That's,
remember
usually-
when you came and we worked on our cars that day. We had that one photo where they're both in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
That's
I remember something was wrong with my front end. You were doing the backyard alignments.
The string
with
alignments.
the string.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, like shit is good, and like
shit
we
looks
align
legit.
it. He like he stabs the brakes, and like the whole front end's like 4 degrees, fucking toe out, like.
Yeah, I kind of remember
All
that.
mangled.
What was that?
Oh, I remember. I had those PBM solid bushings, and the rack was sliding over. So the whole rack, like if I went full lock, the whole alignment would get thrown out of whack.
Which is weird because We were talking
You're
about
supposed
this.
to glue those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're supposed to like epoxy it onto the.
I think they updated the design, and it's better now. But yeah, I remember everyone talking about how those were sliding around and like don't use them. But
Yeah.
talking to Hector the other day, and he was like, "No, they got." And he showed me a photo, and I was like, "They kind of can't move." So I don't really know what's going
Yeah,
on.
it's weird because like it has like that little indent to
Yeah.
fall into the slot, but it's still round on the bottom. And probably if your rack's like leaking or dirty, there's grease
Yeah.
under it, and
I
there's
do
still
remember
tension.
that. That was definitely a common thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good old string alignments.
That's. I don't
That
think
was
in
that
a
was
million
not
years.
accurate, just for the record, but it worked for drifting.
I
Yeah.
didn't think in a million years that I would find out that you were over there doing backyard alignments.
I mean,
I mean,
only
I
on
think I
his
was
car.
just. I think it. Yeah, not like a service. It was
Yeah,
just
like,
I was
kinda
doing
like,
it for
I'm
service.
desperate, and we were like, oh, let's hang out. Like, just bring the car. And his
Yeah.
driveway was so fucking steep. Like that was like another project. The cars were always. It would take like an hour to get out of this kid's fucking driveway. Like we would need planks and shit. And your car was way lower than
I
it was
know.
now.
We just take off the bumpers, but the side skirts would still be pretty bad. That driveway was pretty bad, for sure. But I got it down to a system.
Somebody in the chat, I think it's Johnny. He said,
Is it your
Josh-
squad?
"Yeah,
Yeah.
Josh's dad's Maxima is dope." That we gotta get Johnny.
Well, he's got a
in here
current
eventually,
one.
But
Right?
Oh yeah.
His dad's got a current Maxima. So.
is this just a thing?
He
Like,
likes
No,
Maximas,
it's just I don't know. My dad got one and he like lowered it and he put G35 wheels on it.
It's kind of sick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes
no,
he shows
it
up
looks
in
good.
Yeah.
Those things will fucking gap you, dude.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the cars.
Okay, so we
CVTs.
pretty much covered when you got into drifting, and then you started going to Club Loose around what 2011.
Yeah, 2011. So I had my second shell at this time.
Yeah. So what's up with that? So you buy another car.
Yeah, so this shell is like toast. Like I'm like learning how to like, do all this shit on my own. I
Yeah.
remember I had the jack stands like behind the back seat. I had just finished undoing the drive shaft and like a minute later it like went through the car. Like I
Wait,
could've
what?
died. Yeah, like that's
The
how like
drive
Jack
shaft?
stand. Oh
no,
wait.
I just finished undoing the
Oh,
drive
the
shaft,
sh-
but the jack stands, like how the back seat area gets like rusty,
Yeah.
like that back patch, like yeah, like I had just finished, and a minute later, this car just like hit the floor because it went through. Like this car was
Because it was
fucked.
rotted the fuck out.
Yeah,
God.
this
Did you
car
also
was
get this
bad.
on eBay?
No, no,
This was the
this
one
is the
that
one that the
you got on
one
eBay.
on eBay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So like I
I
didn't
gave up.
Yeah, so then this shell that I got, I remember I got for my 20th birthday. So this is like 2010 when I got this car. So I took all the parts from that car. I remember I paid $350 and an Xbox 360 controller for the shell.
It's fucking awesome.
Oh my god.
I got the car in Brooklyn. The kid was forced to sell it because, there's like alternate
Baby on the
side
way.
parking and shit like that. His mom had got surgery, and him and his mom were like pushing the car like across the street, like into spots. And he was trying to do a head gasket. It was a single cam
My
KA.
God, dude.
And he just like didn't have the money to do it. And he's like, fuck it. I'm going to get rid of the car.
It sounds like
So
a
I
lot
bought
of people's
it.
stories with 240s.
Yeah. So, yeah, I took the KA that I had because I had bought one. I told you the red one, the red shell I had, it blew up. I swapped another dual cam in that. So that motor was good. At this point, I had already had coilovers, arms, wheels. So, basically just shell swapped, like ordered a manual. And I kind of drove that as is to like around 2011. And, I was like, you know what? Like I could probably give this drifting thing a shot. So at the time, like, I got more into it because my friend Carlos, he was like heavy on like Zilvia, and I already had like a group of 240 friends at this point. So, we went to like car meets, like 240 motoring meet. I had already spectated a Club Loose event at this point. So I was like, all right, like this is what I want to do.
240 motoring.
Holy shit, I haven't heard that name in a while.
Why does
Well,
that
it's
sound
240 SX morning, but yeah, 240
Yeah.
motoring.
In
What
Connecticut.
the hell is that?
Connecticut.
Damn, that's way before my time.
They're like
No, they
One
still
of
have a site.
Really?
Yeah.
one of like the earlier groups back in the day.
That's
yeah.
cool as hell.
Yeah.
I'll look into that.
They used to have like 240 only meets. I remember I had pictures of like drift action cars, and like at that time,
Yeah.
like peak, like just all their cars like laid frame. They had like 5 or 6 cars in their group. They were hosting events. Then that same summer, I remember I spectated East Coast Bash. They were drifting that, and I was like, all right, those cars are sick.
Was that
I wanna
11 or
do this.
12?
I think it was 11.
Yeah, I remember
Because this
that
is
too.
the
I was
same
spectating
summer
too.
that Flushing was at its peak.
Oh man.
And I was like going
Is
to that.
That's the Drift
that
Zombies.
Drift
event.
Zombies?
Yeah,
Yeah. So at this point, I'm still spectating. I'm hooked. Like, this is what I want to do.
And I was spectating that event too. And we're the same age.
Drift Zombies?
So we literally got into Club Loose basically at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially.
I
So,
remember watching Drift Zombies as a young kid.
I would just see it on YouTube.
Like on YouTube?
Yeah.
you.
That was right when YouTube was probably getting.
Yeah.
And then this is what we
Popular.
were talking about, takeovers, like ruining stuff. Like, this was like takeover sized meat, but drifting.
It's like a legit.
This was a
Drift
the
That's the
most
coolest-
legit, not legit event. People would come
Yeah.
on trailers.
That's the
they would have
coolest
people
shit.
flagging like 3 fingers out the
Yeah.
window, tandeming. Like
It was kind of like Club Loose in a way. Like they were using. They were.
they
doing
had
the
the
same
same
thing.
layout as like
Yeah.
the parking lot event. Like you could click third in this layout. Like it was
wild.
long. Like nothing to hit. Like there was poles in the middle, but you were using those as like clipping points, like make different layouts and stuff. But I remember like peak summer, we'd get there, you know, like 10:30, 11 at night, and the sun would come up, and
Yeah.
that's it. And all summer, every single night, like
That's
if
sick.
it was
Fucking
Saturday
cool as
night,
hell.
if it was Saturday night, like that would be the peak night. But there was drifting Friday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Just every night.
That's
Literally
cool.
every night.
Free
no one
event.
said a word, and this probably went on for like a solid year and a half before, then it kind of wasn't a thing anymore.
Cops were like, all right, well, I
You know.
guess we should stop.
That's
this.
cool as hell. In the videos alone, if you're on YouTube and you type in
Google
Drift
it.
Zombies,
Yeah, Flushing Meadow Drift.
you can see like people on the highway.
The
Like
Yeah,
exit
that's-
for the lot was
they're
the
watching.
entrance for the the
Yeah.
highway.
they're
So
watching on the fucking on.
And they would have.
not for
fucking-
nothing, it was safe. Like people weren't standing on poles,
Yeah, it
like
was
filming
pretty
shit.
safe.
Like everyone was
Yeah,
like
they were all
away from the
all
track.
away
from
from everything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everyone had this set up like super good. I think like the Island Slide guys like had that.
Well, you gotta keep in mind that was
figured out.
pretty much before Instagram.
Yeah.
like the
So-
video, every
I'll,
single.
I'll say it
video.
again. Instagram really did ruin shit because there was,
Kinda.
when you think about it, there wasn't really
We
a
had
lot of
Facebook
people like.
and stuff, but it wasn't.
There was
I
no
don't
one
know.
like
There's no
standing in the track.
stories.
trying
There's
to
nothing
film
about
shit.
sharing. Like
Yeah.
you couldn't share stuff. Like unless you were friends with someone like directly, like you couldn't see
But
the
now
stuff
you,
that was on it.
but now you look at like takeover videos and there's a million cameras at all
Well,
times,
like-
and everyone wants to catch everything so they
Not
can post
everyone
it.
had phones at the time
Yeah.
Yeah.
too. Like
Yeah.
Like all those videos, they're all on like a camcorder or like a camera.
Yeah, and
Like-
there's but there what I'm saying is like there's no one like nowadays if that was to happen there'd be 40 people standing at the pole.
people
in the
weren't
middle.
doing it. Yeah, people weren't doing it for the attention. Like people were there like
To
legitimately to practice. Like, we didn't have like East Coast Drift School at that time.
Yeah.
Like it was either like you go to Club Loose or you go on the street. I
Yeah.
mean, that's still kind of like the way it is.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard now. But
No, East Coast Drift School has definitely made it way easier.
oh yeah,
I feel
Yeah.
like
it's like more obtainable now. But that wasn't even
we
an
have a lot of-
option back then.
Yeah, a lot
You-
of customers that come here
Events
go
weren't
there.
even that frequent as there are now.
Yeah,
You
that's the other
guarantee
thing.
that's the other thing I was gonna say is like
it's
you'll
so
be
saturated
lucky.
now. Like if you really want to, like you can go to an event every weekend within the East. I want to say like as low as Virginia to like as high as like New Hampshire. Like from basically March to November, you could go drifting every single weekend if you wanted to.
And Josh knows because he's done it.
Yeah,
like
Straight up.
literally, pretty much this last year, which is going to be another question of mine, but I'll save it for later. Just I feel like you've been doing every event,
Yeah.
so
Until your diff went. That
well, yeah.
and I was like, fuck.
All right, so Drift Zombies is going on. Now you're going to Club Loose. Well, you're spectating. Club
I didn't.
Loose.
Yeah, I spectated Club Loose, and then my first event.
Did you swap
was-
shells already? I missed that.
Yeah, I had
Okay.
already had the car, the hatch, the black hatch.
Okay.
So I want to say, yeah, it's got to be 2011 midsummer. I did a Wednesday event,
Oh yeah.
parking lot.
We probably
Now-
we probably did the same.
Drift nights? Is that the one that you're talking
Yeah.
about?
I'm gonna find this shit.
So I mean, I have no drift experience other than my friend trying to show me how to drift in the car at that point. So, I'm trying to do this. Like there's a driving line, but like to me, it just looks like a giant open parking lot.
That's
like
exactly
I
what it
don't
looked like
know
to
where
me.
to go.
Yeah.
I just see a cone. They're like, yeah, you're gonna want to go around those cones like in third gear and turn. And you're like, what? Like, I had like never even like done like a donut like out of first gear. Like, you want me to go third around the shit? Had no working e-brake, so I'm just like pulling e-brake or like kicking the clutch into oblivion, like nowhere, spinning out, and I had Will Ortega in my car, so I mean he's still doing like Club Blue stuff now, so. He gets in my car. He's like showing me what to do. He's like, all right, get out of the seat. Like, I'll show you. Like, this is what you're gonna want to like feint entry into this like one turn. It was like a sweeper, and you're gonna hold through the turn. I want to say we got maybe like 3 laps in, and my car is blown up, and like it's knocking like insane. Like it's fucked. We pull off. He gets out of the car, and then my car's on fire. So this is my first drift event. So I had like a rust hole like under the seat, underneath the carpet that I didn't know about, and the header was so hot from the car running lean that it touched the carpet and it just like ignited. So now, mind you, I street drove there. I'm with my friend. My interior is full of extinguisher. My engine bay is full of extinguisher. Like, and now my shit's blown up, and this is my only car. So
God.
that was kind of like my first
drift event experience.
Yeah, like single hand
I mean,
experience.
that's a pretty solid one.
I might have tried to find a different hobby.
Right?
Like you probably spent time, money. You're young. Like,
I don't
your
want to say
shit's
I
on
spent
fire.
much money. Like, I don't think I didn't know what I was getting into at the time.
Well,
like,
but at that point, it was like a turning point. It was
yeah,
like,
that was like
well,
the turning point. Like what you guys were talking about the other podcast. Like, I brought a bunch of like fucking tires that I wasn't gonna use. Like
Yeah.
steely like 4-lug tires. Like I have all this shit with me, and
that's what
I
we
didn't really
always
know
do.
like I didn't know how poorly my car was set up. Like it looked the part, but like for drifting, it was not set up at the time. Like I didn't have any of the pinch welds hammered out. The wiring harness is rubbing. Like there's all things that like I learned from drifting
Yeah.
at this point.
Which nowadays, you really don't have to go drift to learn
Bro, you
those
could
things.
go on YouTube, go
You
to
go on our
Faction
YouTube,
Motorsports
probably.
YouTube
Yeah.
A
channel, and you'll
sim.
see everything. Sims. Like,
Yeah.
I know you're not a big fan of
The sim
Sims.
life.
I
But-
can't get into. I like the idea
It's
of
cool,
it.
but
I
like-
try it and it's nothing like.
It's
real
not for
driving.
everyone. Like, I know a handful of people like that too, who
There's
can drive
no
in real.
there's no connection like at all. Like oh like you can set air pressure and all this stuff. Like you don't feel that feedback.
Yeah.
You don't feel weight transfer. Like I think it's a good tool. Like if you're really gonna commit to it, where I don't know, like you have basic techniques. I think a lot of problem I see like with people that start with sims and they get into drifting is that they think it's like the sim, and then they have like this weird new habit that they can't break. Like oh well, in the
Like pulling
sim
a
it does
handbrake
this.
all the time. Like, that's what. Like,
Yeah, like weird. I don't know. I can't comment on it too much because I'm not that into it, but it's just something I kind of see.
yeah. Well, coming from me, like, or to try to relate to you on it is like I would use the sim, and then I can compare it to like drifting in the rain. That's exactly what it feels like. Like you could whip the car around and stuff, and it helps with like muscle memory. So like, you could also develop bad habits though, like you're saying, and then you get in a car and you're doing the same bad habits. So like, it's all about I feel like how you use it. But yeah,
What I like about it is that you could like practice on a track that like you've never driven before, or something that like you can get familiar with online. Because
Yeah, that's good.
I think all that sim stuff is like pretty spot on.
yeah, and it's
Oh,
only
yeah.
gonna get better from here. Like you know, in terms of
Yeah,
Force
there's
feedback and
growing
shit like
pains with everything.
yeah,
There's a lot of situations where you get to a track and you're like, okay, here we go.
yeah, no idea what the hell I'm
N-
doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a good 99% of the time for me. But like,
Yeah, like remember when we went our first private day?
yeah.
That was my first time driving front track, and I
you
was
like
like,
that shit right off the rip.
but
Stop.
I was already playing.
Oh yeah,
Assetto.
you were
I was
at my
playing
house.
E-Town.
Oh, so you kinda knew.
E-Town. There was a map E-Town, and I was like, I was already familiar. I was like, oh, this looks familiar.
That shit has like the bar and everything in it, like the
Yeah.
layout. Like you like come out like basically like through the grid and everything.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
all it's
Sneaky
pretty
pieces
spot
there.
on.
There's in the newest rendition of it, there Chris is just standing on, or Chris Knapp is standing on one of the clipping
Oh,
points.
yeah,
and he's just
I
sitting
heard
there
about
with his
that.
thumbs up like this or something. But so so now you had your first drift event. What made you want to go back? And like, wait, first, did you get home with that car?
No, I got
Okay, I was gonna
Will-
say, Jesus.
Will, wherever he was working at the time, he had a tow truck or like had a friend with a tow truck, he towed it. He felt bad. He thought he did it. So I was like, I don't know, like it is what it is. So
Is this the car?
I'll show you.
Because we have it up on the. Malcolm has this new thing where we can have pictures on the thing.
I sent him this.
Wait,
that's the
actually
car, but it didn't look like that.
It was.
That's
a little after, right?
This is a little after. That's 2012.
That looks.
Oh,
So that's like fast forward like
Type X
another-
Arrow.
It's pretty
Yeah,
close though.
I always wanted. I was into like the Zilvia shit. Like I always, even before drifting, I wanted a Type X car. Like,
Were you a Cameron Bronze?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Hell yeah. I'd be
Yeah.
like,
Of course, that was like
I know you,
you know,
were for sure.
the GOAT at the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy how cheap the Type X stuff. Like as a college student at the time, like that stuff was so obtainable. Like remember, I got side skirts for 200, wing for 200,
All OEM stuff.
all OEM, bumper, 300, like complete. The only thing you couldn't get at the time were the lips.
Ooh, I was
Like
about
there
to
was a
ask.
company at the time, like Japanese brand. It was called Vanquish. Like if people were like bringing those in, like you could get that, but there was no replica.
But those were
fiberglass lips.
fiberglass, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were all fiberglass. So like I was chopping those up like fucking crazy. But my car at that time was like partially by the time of that Club Loose event, I had Type X skirts, Type X rear, Type X wing, tails, and I still had the pig nose front bumper because
The
I
tails
didn't have the
were
bump.
One
Yeah,
of my favorite things on a 180.
all that stuff was like super like obtainable at the time.
So you went from KA.
Now I bought now I end up buying an SR. So I got
Okay,
I
here's
got
the
an
first-
SR
Oh, okay.
around the corner from my house. It's like one of my 240 friends at the time. He's like, yeah, my friend has an SR or whatever. I paid $1,000 for the swap, full swap. So it
what I
was
paid for mine.
downpipe, this like sketchy ass intercooler. It was a black top motor. The stock harness. It was I don't even think wiring specialties was a thing then. So it was like you had the OEM harness and it was like spliced up. So it was that, and yeah, my friend helped me put it in, and that was like my first like turbo experience.
Stock ECU.
Stock ECU, yeah.
None of that
Oh.
RS enthalpy stuff.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Alright. So how long did that last you? Because now the not yet has me.
That motor lasted me. I had it running in my car about like 2.5 years, and then I sold it to Chris Nazaro, and then he had it running for another 5 before he put the RS enthalpy computer, and it blew up.
Wait, so how long did it last you? Sorry.
Lasted me 2.5 years,
Okay.
and I sold it because at this point I was doing like a complete overhaul on my car.
Yeah, I remember. I
And,
read the thread.
Yeah, so I had tubs, built SR, like funny enough, it had like a Gretty like E-managed computer, and then I switched it for the stupid RS enthalpy computer.
So
I
you
didn't know
guys
any
put the
better.
tubs in that car?
Chris Kachese did it.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's
Did you just thought you needed them?
yeah, like
Yeah.
that's you
One of
know,
those
no
things.
drifting experience. Like you start doing things like you see like other drift people doing, you don't know why they're doing it. You're like, all right, I guess I need that. Like,
Yeah.
So I had Russ Repair had to do it. He's like, oh, you might as well do tubs. Like, you might as well do knuckles. You might as well do this. Like, built motor. I mean, the motor had like an S15 turbo, but it was still like stupid fast. It was really fucking quick. It was built, had cams, like Tomei, like full Tomei, like valve train, like
That stuff
CB pistons.
wasn't that cheap. back
And I
then.
bought this swap for like $2,500.
All of this was in it.
All yeah, with the computer and everything.
Imagine that.
I mean, it's still like at the time, like it's still a lot of money.
That's a
like,
shitload of money.
And like if you're not making any money and you're in school, like you're still scrapping up pennies. Like
I couldn't even think about buying a motor if I was a kid. I have a spending problem now. Back then, it was probably worse.
I would always like like you would sell like the used parts you had to like recoup to buy like the newer stuff you wanted. So
Yeah.
I remember I think I sold Chris the swap for like my swap for like $1,800, like stock intercooler, like basically like drop in ready to go, and that was his daily driver at the time. So like we'd swap that in so like he could get back to school like that same Monday, like pull the car like into his like parents' job Friday night, worked on it all weekend, like got it running Monday, and like back to school with it. But I think I was like at this time like building this whole car. It took me maybe like a little less than a year. So it was like I want to say 2013 is like when I started drifting the car again.
I'm scoping the internet for photos of your car right now. Did you say you did talk about Chris and him getting a car and everything, or because that's my next question? Like, when did Chris get involved? Because I think you were.
Well, we all had like on Staten Island, we all had like the same group of friends that were like peer pressuring us and like doing shit. So, like they already like Alex had already had his car at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Alex got his car when he was like 15 or 16. Chris got his car when he was like 17, 18. I think
They're
that was
younger?
actually Chris's second car. Yeah, they're younger than me,
Okay.
like 4 years. So yeah, I didn't meet Alex and any of them till like I knew of them cuz like the skate park
Skateboarding,
and
right?
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't start hanging out with them till I started dating Jonna, and Jonna's
Oh yeah.
Alex's whatever stepbrother, stepsister. So he had already had the car, and we like, you know, we're talking. I think I sold him like a steering wheel or something, and then we kind of just like always hung out since then, because that was kind of like their friend group at the time.
That
Okay.
ties into my. Is this like the start of Front Street? Like when did
no.
Front Street
Front-
happen?
Technically, probably not yet, but soon.
Not yet.
Yeah, like we didn't have like a drift team, but like we had like this like stupid group. It was called Team Bat Salts. So like we had like stickers. Yeah, there's like when Bat Salts were like, I don't know,
That was the thing.
Florida people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't even think. No, my car was apart. This is like when I started doing like that rebuild at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'm
Alex
looking,
had an
yeah.
SR car, but he wasn't drifting yet. Chris had his 240. It was like a manual pig nose car. Tom didn't even have a driver's license yet. Nick actually had a car. He had a white S14. So like we all had cars, but we weren't at the track yet. We were just like doing like dumb shit on the street.
That's why it was called Team Bad Salts.
Yeah, I don't.
It
I don't know.
literally just because the bath salt thing happened in Florida and they heard it and they were probably like joking around.
Yeah, and it just
Yeah.
like became a thing.
No one knew
I'm gonna start
what
creeping
to call.
these pictures because I can give you like timelines. for
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Like right now,
Some
this is
stuff.
the engine.
Like
when you're
right
putting
now,
the engine.
that engine bay with the tub photo, that's like Team Bat Salt. Like
Oh, it is. Okay.
prime error.
Oh wow.
That's
Okay.
like in the prime of it. But
And then
I
that's when
think
you start.
that's probably like no, that's like Front Street error. Like, at
Okay,
that
so
time.
maybe some of these are like. This is 2014. Yeah.
That's a
yeah,
hatch?
that's yeah.
Fuck.
So
nice.
that's like redone, like repainted. I'm already like in full swing. That's my dad's car.
Okay, that explains everything. I was like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah, no, my dad had that.
I remember
My
this.
dad had a hatch. Yeah. Oh, when you get
With the
when I get
exhaust?
2 exhausts.
Yeah.
First of
Whoops.
faction mistakes.
Yeah.
So then you had Team Bad Salts.
Yeah, we had Team Bat Souls. We were doing a bunch of dumb stuff.
Damn, dude.
I want to say 2013, 2014 is like when we all started like taking this like more serious. Like now we're like attending regular events. Tom has a car.
But he doesn't have a
Chasey
license.
has a car. No, Tom had a license. That was
He
that
did?
white car he had. That car that Jeff just scrapped.
Yeah.
That was his first car,
I
ever.
remember that.
Oh, now the end of an Jeff posted that and said end of an era.
Yeah, that was Tom's first car. He senior in high school. Like
It's you.
Went to
you
that.
walking out with an overfender at Home Depot.
yeah.
Wait,
I don't know why.
That's
I did that.
2013.
what is
the
the
era.
story? Why did you need to bring that?
He was
I
probably
don't
trying to
even know.
figure out what size rivets or some shit.
That's probably what it was. It already had the holes like punched out for it, and I just that's why I had like 1,000 of them like in that car at that time. But
What engine is this one right here?
that is definitely the built one.
That's the one you swapped in. Your
Yeah.
like first SR.
No, that's the
so
second
you
one.
swapped another SR.
By the time I had the tubs, that was the built motor.
Jesus.
Ooh, that's still red
Christ.
top.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, let's see.
Damn.
At this point,
This is sick.
that is when I started to like go to Club Loose. Like at that point, like regular, like make an effort.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I
This
had full
is
SPL
like,
suspension
sick.
on that car at that point. PBM coilovers, had bucket seats,
So
built
you
motor. Like
you got pretty. I mean, you got done pretty quick because this is 2013 and it's already
yeah, it was like about like 8. I want to say like about 8 months. I downed that car in like June of 2012, because now I'm like officially with Jonna at this point. So yeah, like 8. I don't know, somewhere like 8 to 10 months, a little less than a year. I got that car back together, and then it was just like full swing from there.
Then you just started drifting, committed. Like,
Yeah,
you
committed.
built
Like,
it, so you're like,
But
fuck
yeah,
it.
whatever I could afford at the time to like go.
I'm
Yeah.
reading the comments on this Facebook photo, and it says, "Yeah, dude, it's been a week and it's been rough. Destroyed the oil pan first day out."
Yeah, like just so much dumb shit at that time.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so then Front Street happened, and
Yeah,
then now you're
Front
kind of
Street-
Well,
Front Street.
when
No,
was
this
that?
is still bath salts.
Yeah, this is still bath salts.
That's
Come on
still
now.
bath salts.
okay. Dude, every
Front
time we
Street-
say this,
Yeah, no, Front Street era was when my car got painted.
But when did we come drift? Remember when me and Justin came and drift? And Miyagi? We all
That
came?
was Front Street.
That was Front Street?
That was Front
Yeah,
Street.
yeah, yeah.
That
Because
was
we
like
actually
20
went to Front Street.
Yeah, that was like 2015. I had the CR Kais. Whenever I had the CR Kais and the car was like fully painted, that was Front Street.
That photo I
Front
just
Street era.
sent you, Malcolm, is what happens when a sway bar hits your oil pan.
dude, I was like gonna say that's the most uniform press.
Yeah, that's when you hit something and the sway bar
And the sway bar
flips
rips
upside
all,
down.
Yeah, like reverse.
Yeah.
What the fuck? The oil pickup is right in there. That probably.
Yeah, it's
backed
probably
that.
being starved. I don't know if this motor blew up or not.
Nah,
but-
that one was. I caught that pretty early. I got lucky with that one.
Shit.
Oh, click on that Cressida picture real quick. Story time. I posted it on my Facebook maybe a few weeks ago. So that car, right?
Oh, shit.
This is like the first 240 motoring meet that I go to.
Okay.
This dude has a SR swapped Cressida.
What the fuck?
It has solid lifters, stock head, power FC. And this dude's like, yeah, check this out. And it just like revs to like, he has the commander out the window. And it revs to like 9,600. Like with a bottom out turbo and everything. I was like, what the fuck? Like, and it has a 2-step. Like blows the hot dogs like off the table. Like whatever table's like behind that. 'Cause it's like a barbecue. And that was like the most ridiculous thing I ever saw.
Yeah. I
It's on
remember.
S14 wheels and shit. Like,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like it. Yeah.
Chris, come look at
That
this.
car is that car was insane.
What is that?
It's a
It's a Cressida with an
in it.
SR at a 240 motoring meet that I saw that had like a built valve train, solid lifters, and this dude never said a word to this guy in his life. He's like, hey, check this out. And like revs this shit to like 9,600 RPM. Like I remember seeing that on the Commander.
Who's man's?
He's probably
That's
an OG.
Ocean
He's
City.
probably just some dude
That's
like.
kinda sick, though.
Yeah.
Oh, this is when you guys went to H2O.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have just kept a 1J and then put a 1J.
The way home. This was H2O, right?
Yeah. So that was like front street at that point.
This
'Cause
was like, yeah, this was around the inception.
the inception of
2013.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Chris made the name.
He
It was
did.
Chris's idea. Yep.
That's
Chris
like-
is the one who
It's my
made
favorite name.
It. Yeah.
It is honestly like one of the coolest. Like,
So
shit
explain
just
the
goes
name.
hard.
So the
yeah.
name, funny enough, I'm wearing the shirt. I haven't worn the shirt in a hot minute. But 50/50 Skate Park was located on Front Street, and the lot that we were messing around in was on Front Street. So that's
like the
just,
origin of like where.
The whole friend group, really.
Yeah,
kinda.
pretty much the whole friend group, and yeah, just the earliest to date shenanigans of the group messing around at the time. And then yeah, the name stuck. So Chris Nazaro is the originator of that name.
Damn. He,
Shit goes hard.
he killed it with that one. Oh, I
Yeah.
like this photo.
Okay, so what made you go like that was like one of my final questions for like your origin story. But now I always wondered like what made you go from SR to Jay-Z?
Well, at this point, I blew up like 30. Not
Yeah, I was gonna say
30.
that's a long jump in time.
Yeah.
Is
it's-
it?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not
So
a
you had
long
an SR
jump,
for
but
a while?
It's at least 3-4 years.
Yeah, this is like about a solid. I want to say maybe solid like 2-3 years. It seemed like longer because it just kept happening so frequent. But
That you're blowing SRs?
I was blowing SRs up like left and right, and the same shit kept happening. I couldn't figure it out, like swapping all this different stuff, and then eventually I just got fed up with it, and I was like, this is like when the 1J swap started getting like more popular. I think the earliest 1J swap that I saw was this dude Angelo from this team Velocity Stars. Chris had picked up a set of wheels from him, and he had a 1J in his car, and I was like, holy shit, like this kind of like fits in there pretty good. Like he had like the swap super clean, like super like, stock, but it funny enough, like it looked like it belonged in there the way he had it. I was like, all right, like tell me like more info. It's like, all right, I have this mount kit, this intercooler, like basically bought everything from CX Racing, and I put it in. Whatever, it's in my head, and like just never thought of it again. And then like a few months later, I blew that SR, and I was like, I'm like,
Fuck this.
I'm kind of over this at this point. So I talked to him and I was like, all right, like what could I do? Like I'm not familiar with the hybrid swap. Like, would you be interested in doing it? And he was like, yeah, sure. So he took my car, he wired it up.
What year was this?
Probably
Before-
find it. It's
Before or
like,
after you guys went to Final Bout?
no, not Final Bout.
Like before?
Yeah, this is before.
Okay.
So
Which Final Bout did you guys go to?
Final Bout 3 was my first one.
Is that the one that? So you were at that one too then?
Yeah.
This will be your second one.
Remember when I said we rolled out with a bunch of cars and trucks on the street?
Oh no, it's your third one, because you went with.
No, that was the one I've been to. Yeah, my third.
Yeah.
But the one we drove at was the second.
Yeah.
And remember when I told you we had like all the cars down the street?
Oh,
with the
yeah,
trucks and
that's
trailers?
right.
Yeah, that was that night.
Damn, that sounds fun.
Couple of questions. So I wanted to bring up when we watched the Final Bout video at 50/50 Skate Park.
Yeah,
that
we
the
weren't even
first
in
video?
Final Bout yet. We weren't even there.
Yeah, that must have been the first Final Bout video, right?
I think this is like we've been like jumping back and forth, like all
Yeah.
these like dates and years. It seems like a blur at this point. Like I
Yeah.
know it happened, but I can't pinpoint like what year exactly shit was.
Well, basically, they had a premiere of a Final Bout. I think it was Final Bout 1.
yeah,
It had to be.
at the skate park.
At the skate park, which was sick. So, like, everyone met up there.
Basically through like a mini meet. Like people came. Like
Yeah, and we
from
all just hung up.
over.
We were, like, sitting on a ramp watching.
Yeah,
the
we had it like
projector
on the
screen.
projector.
That's
and
cool as
everything.
hell.
It
What
was
the fuck?
sick, yeah. And you guys had your cars in there, too, right?
Yeah, Tom had his car in there.
I wanted
had
to
my
bring up
car.
this photo right here and have you explain a little bit.
That
What? the
nothing
fuck?
nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Um,
But this was
That
at the skate
is-
park.
Joe Iano's car, like his first 240 that he thought he was gonna build and do an LS swap to, and then I think it got flooded or some shit. Like some hurricane
Oh,
happened.
Sandy probably.
Yeah, and I think it got sandied at like his old workspace, and then I don't know. I guess
It makes sense.
we were already friends with Joe at the time. I guess I don't know. All these like dates are blurry at this point.
Well,
But
it's 14.
yeah, Tom
So-
Tom made that. I think
Tom made
and
that?
yeah.
That's funny.
That
I
was
just
like
remember
a
seeing that. I
prop.
was like, this skate park's got a 240 in it, and it's literally
Was that there at the Final Bout premiere?
for sure? Yeah, I think so because this is 2014.
Because I don't remember it lasting that long. But
Yeah, I think it was. But yeah, so that Final Bout premiere was sick, and that kind of like put Front Street kind of on the map when it comes to Final Bout because I mean that was one of the reasons we did it too because it was like, oh, let's
get some exposure.
get some exposure. So I mean, so they know about Front Street too because I
At
mean
this point, they were looking for like other teams and like
Yeah.
branching out and stuff. And I mean, at that time was like, wow, that's like a super sick goal. Like I wasn't into drifting that long, but I was into that caliber and that style of cars. So that was kind of like the peak where you kind of wanna, I don't want to say fit in, but where you belong, essentially.
I mean the event was in general awesome too. Like it's just like
it's something you want to attend.
like the Proceed guys. Well, at the time we knew him, Risky Devil. Like when we were watching videos and shit.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. Like we were pretty much fanboys of the Chicago style. So when it came to like, oh, you guys can actually drive over there and do this, it was like, oh, we gotta. do
yeah,
it.
it was like a big honor.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty dope.
And then once we went, I was like, okay, well, now Front Street needs to come like next year.
Yeah,
so
and
we
I
can
just
both-
remember like begging and pleading. I'm like, who do we talk to? Like, how do we do this? Like,
Who do we gotta pay?
who do we gotta pay? What do I gotta send pictures? Like,
All right, so final bout. That's a good way to keep it. So you did Final Bout 3, and that was a
oh, we got sidetracked with the 1J shit.
Oh yeah.
yeah. That's what threw me off.
Yeah,
dude,
because-
so, yeah, I did that 1J swap, and then, well, I didn't do it. I paid to get it done, and at that point, yeah, just the car never broke, and that's kind of where I got the bulk of my seat time.
Because the Jay-Z was just.
Aside from the fact that it overheated like every 3 laps, yeah. But you just wait for it to cool down and then just go back at it. Like I didn't have to worry about it blowing up and, doing anything. But yeah, that was definitely like the bulk of my seat time and where, I started getting familiar with the track. I was still B group when that car was Jay-Z.
Yeah,
How different did that feel going from SR to Jay-Z? Did you feel any difference? Like
It felt easier.
Really?
It's torquey, so it just I don't know. Like now looking back on it, like the reason why I took it out is it was just kind of boring.
It made it too easy.
It just
for you.
made it too yeah, like it just would fry the tires. Like you would never have to clutch kick. Like it just doesn't belong in that car. Like it just you step on the gas and like it goes. Like it's sick. Like I'm not saying that it's a bad motor. Just overall, like once I started getting like really comfortable in a car, and then I still had an SR car at the time. I had my Zenki that I was dailying, so I never really strayed away from the SR stuff. But once I had like the seat time under my belt, and I think it was James. Yeah, it was James' car. He was street drifting a lot. He's like, "Oh, help me get my car set up, whatever." And I drove this. I was like, "Holy shit! Like this is way more fun." Like I remember, like like e-braking and like dropping the clutch, revving it up. Like, it's more involved. And
I'm sure.
yeah, I don't know. That's like I said. That's kind of where I got the bulk of my seat time, and then eventually I just kind of got bored of it.
Nick from Front Street said, "Bro, you had 215s
Yeah.
Oh, what on the rear?
on the rear." I guess in reference to you saying it was boring.
Well, when I had the coupe,
he's hating
I
because he's
still
got a
had
Jay Z. So
Well, I still had the coupe too on 265s with the Jay Z, and it was still the same shit. It's still why I got rid of it.
I mean, it's not like he's saying it's a bad engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad engine. It's just it didn't. I don't know. Like the soul of the car was kind of like
yeah,
Not there.
not there. Yeah.
that all comes down to driving style. I mean, if you're not into how it's feeling, then that's
Yeah,
That's
I
not
got
the car.
to. I'm not saying that like I'm good, but like I got to a point eventually, like when I did that machine check with James, that Final Bout video, where I kind of peaked with that car, like with that setup, the alignment, like the way the car was. I was already consistently driving at this point, and yeah, it was A group because the car was caged, and I was just like, all right, like I need something more. Like I feel like the setup is maxed.
I'm still throwing Malcolm old photos because I haven't got to the Jay
That's
Z
from
era
the
yet.
event.
Yeah, this was from the Final Bout premiere event, and this was, I mean, I don't know if this was peak, but it was definitely close.
Was that when you guys had that burst style vinyl on? Was that the premiere?
This is before.
No, this is
Before that?
before that.
Yeah,
Because that's when I discovered.
It was special.
yeah. The one with the
stage.
two cars is
Oh,
Chris and Josh when they were at H2O, I think.
Yeah, the first Final Bout related event we went to was special stage,
Hmm.
and then
That's when I
Final Bout
discovered you
3.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot
we
of
had the-
photos in
Damn,
here
that's
of
fucking
just SR.
Sweet.
A lot of photos in here of SR going in and coming out.
Yeah, like early like Tom stuff.
This is
Yeah.
your car in here with the AVSs and
Yeah,
Yeah,
before the Jay Z.
Dude, I remember seeing photos of them, just their cars inside the skate park, just and a party going on.
I love that photo. That
that
photo
shit
is
is
so sick.
cool as hell. What the
This is on Front Street. This photo.
Yeah,
This is at the spot.
this is actually the first official front. I remember we made the Instagram, and that was like the first official photo we had.
Oh, okay,
On the
sick.
Instagram.
Is that you and Jonna?
Yeah, or maybe Christina.
Okay,
I probably
yeah,
took
you
that
probably
picture,
took the
and
photo.
I think Christina and Jonna were there
Damn.
Chris, the good life, he commented.
7 years ago,
Fuck.
almost 10.
That looks great.
All right, send this photo too while we're at
Oh
it.
god.
What
This
is
is when
this?
all the shenanigans really started.
Yeah.
Like this is when the front
People
street
think like,
shit.
oh, like
Oh my fucking god.
Dude, yeah.
What is this?
I had a leaking fuel.
That's
The car's
Alex.
Jay-Z. Yeah.
That's
So-
Jay Z now.
Yeah, that's Jay-Z.
Okay.
The fuel line was leaking. Alex didn't want to get dirty. I didn't want to do it, and he was like, "Fuck it, I'll do it," but I'm taking my clothes off because I don't want to get fucking dirty.
That's just an excuse for him. He always wants to be naked.
That is also true.
He is always naked.
Yeah. Whose car is next to him right there?
That's mine.
Wait, whose car was?
It was Alex's. Now it's mine.
Oh, I do remember that phase.
Yeah.
Too. Oh, here we go. Okay, finally found a photo of the Jay Z.
So, yeah,
So
that thing was money.
mid
It always
2015 is when he changed it. So that Final Bout premiere video we showed, photo we showed of his car
That was
looking real
SR.
good.
Yeah.
That was the end of the SR.
Ooh, that's nice. I've never really like looked at it up close because every time I saw it drifting, I was like in the stands. But like that's a nice.
I mean, this
swap.
this also probably is when you started like getting real.
That's what I'm saying. I started like I was getting the laps in because it wasn't braking.
Whose is that?
Which
the
one?
IS? Mine. That's mine.
What?
Yeah, he had IS
What the fuck?
as a daily for a bit, right?
Yep.
That's a great daily stock.
No, but what I was saying was like I'm noticing the
I thought
black
that was a maximum.
engine bay, like it looks so similar to how your engine bay looks now. Like I feel like this is when you were starting to like dial in the engine bay building techniques to like, because you have a very, he has like a very specific way he does.
I
the
said that
engine
to you
bays.
Oh,
earlier.
for
I said that to you
sure. Yeah.
earlier, and he said he
Definitely.
wasn't. And I was like,
No, he
okay,
does because
man.
he's done other people's cars too, and they
Yeah.
all are very much similar.
Yeah, no,
So,
I love the way that you
I
like.
feel like this is when it
all
started.
yeah,
Like
because now
slowly.
I'm getting like the seat time in, and I don't know. I think everything I know is from drifting, and with drifting, what can go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah.
So then you start like doomsday prepping like weird things, and that just becomes like the nitty like random details that you wouldn't think of, like, oh shit, like I cut that zip tie wrong and it's like rubbing,
Yeah.
it's touching a wire, like that wire might get cut one day, or that clamp is too long, like I should get the right size clamp because that clamp is touching the other heater core hose. Like it's just like inevitable. I don't know.
never-
That's just always like how my brain works.
One
with
of the
drifting.
things that you do when you build, or I think you might have posted an alignment photo. But one thing that got me when I was, and that this is why I was like, dude, this guy builds, like, there's paint marks
Oh, the paint marks.
on
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
on all the bolts, and to the normal person, you're like, what the fuck is that? But like, I guess that's to see if something moved,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's
I'm
like
just so like involved with the car, like I'm not checking bolts like every freaking event.
Yeah,
I'm
so if you
looking
just-
under there and I'm like, good, like drop it
damn.
and-
See, that's
and go. But then no, fucking Chris ends up checking shit and it ends up being loose.
Oh, yeah.
Chris is actually the nut and bolt checker
Yeah.
because he has it up on the rack and
Yeah.
double checking everything.
Yeah,
So.
I remember the first time seeing Josh's car here when I started working here,
was it when it was purple
and like,
or not purple?
it
but
was
it's like
lavender still.
lavender, yeah.
Yeah, the pink, pinkish.
and I remember looking in the engine bay and I was like, holy shit, this guy's way more OCD than me and Frankie combined.
Yeah.
Wait, give me an example. What did you see?
Well, I mean, first, like, usually when me and Frankie put it together a car, like, first thing you see is the coupler clamps all facing the same way. But, like, his are, like, dead straight. Like, I'm pretty sure you put a leveler on it, it's going to be 0.
And then the heat wrap
The heat
everywhere.
wrap
yeah.
everywhere, and then everything all tucked nicely.
So the next photo Malcolm's gonna share is me and Josh, 2015. And you definitely have a Jay
I
Z.
feel like this podcast could go on for like. There's so many like
I'm trying
different
to go.
topics that we
Yeah.
can cover. It's
We're just trying to give a rough. So the thing with this podcast is
It's gonna
like
need like a part 5.
you're. This is not the only time you're gonna be on this podcast.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, if we could
We
give him
gotta
like
cover
a,
the bases.
yeah, we gotta give him like a backstory. That way, when you come on here and we talk about current shit, it's not like if the people listen,
Yeah.
then they have
Not
like,
like
a,
out of the loop.
yeah,
Kinda
they
just-
know what's going on.
I also am like looking from the outside in because like I feel like there was, and I think I wrote it here. It says, "When was the turning point?" Because your
Oh.
driving style kind of
I wrote the same
changed.
question. Yeah.
Did you really?
It's coming. It's coming soon.
Like, I feel like I don't know when, but you might have sent it to me because
Oh, you saw it on my thing.
no, I
Maybe.
didn't.
You're copying my questions.
No, I did not. Look,
I see
pen
what's
and
going
paper
on
right
here.
here.
That's
Okay.
all. Shit, that's a lot. How far did we get?
We're halfway. We're halfway.
Sick.
Actually, we're no 3/4 now. But like your driving style, I feel like changed. Like the and the way that the car was set up changed. Like, what does that say?
Tweet it up.
I wrote
Tooted
"tooted up"
up.
because I was like, why is it like that? And then it occurred to me, I'm like, damn, maybe that's how he could get that aggressive like
Flick.
flick.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Let's do quick. We'll go through some photos and then we're gonna jump into that because I think that's a good transition. So the next photo is 2015. Who is this? You, Chris?
That's me, Chris.
Is that Tom?
Yep.
So Tom's car is not white anymore. It's black.
Which one is Tom?
The one on
The
the end,
black one.
on the right.
Well,
The black
they're all
one.
black.
Fuck me.
The black one. Um,
Yeah, Chris had the TEs on it.
so now you guys
And
pretty much made a
modifiers.
move. Like, all right, we're gonna have black cars.
And then you guys
Yeah,
had the
it was
gray
just
cars.
easier to do black cars because mine was already black.
Chris's
His was black.
Yeah.
Alex's was like dark gray, so it was, might as well have been black. And then yeah, Tom was like the only like oddball, like full blown white, and easier to peer pressure a teenager to paint their car
Yeah.
than for us to change colors.
I personally like black cars because it's. All right, this is a stupid reason to like a black car, but if you mess up your fiberglass and you gotta do a quick patch,
Sharpie.
black is the easiest one. Like I had a can of
Rust-Oleum.
paint like
Oh
on me
yeah.
in case on the
It's
track.
good for a
like-
missile car. Like
Yeah.
for a nice car, I think it's looking back on it is like the worst color. you
Yeah,
could pick.
because
it's so
it's
boring.
easier to see things too. Kind of.
It's so
Yeah,
boring.
you could pick out a dent from far away if it's black.
I agree with that. It is boring.
It's so boring. Like if you're gonna go out of your way to like make a very eccentric like standout car and then you paint it black, like you
Can't
just
even see
kind of
anything.
wasted your time. Yeah.
I feel like black looks good though when you have vinyl on it, which
Yeah, it'll look better than
eventually
having nothing on it.
you guys decided to do that.
Yeah.
I think,
The
right?
next
Kinda-
photo is
kinda
just
regret doing
a
that,
drift
but-
day.
that was my first time tandeming.
Oh, it was.
Yep, and we have that picture of like all 6 of us.
Oh,
It
Hurt was,
like
there.
yes, Hurt was there.
That was the day we all drifted with Hurt.
That was the
Okay.
first time I drifted with you, and that's the first time I tandem.
Holy shit! There is a video of this somewhere. I remember.
Yep.
That's cool, man.
That looks sick.
And we
Like,
have a sick photo of all of us stacked up on turn 1. It's
I
like
wonder if
me. I
that's
think
on
I'm
here.
leading.
I
You're
think I've
behind
seen
me.
that photo.
Her is like in the, and we were all door to door.
Okay, can't show that photo.
can
Moving
we
on.
not? Oh, fucking A.
Okay, I'm showing this one. This is
Come on.
this is what I mean by this is when the shenanigans really
antics.
started. That is the best photo ever. I'd never seen that.
Oh my fucking god, no. No.
So I guess that's when I saw her change their name. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that was definitely peak. Is that
Oh
going
my
on the?
God.
Is that going on?
What, on live?
Yeah.
Oh, it's on there right now.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
my
it
God.
is. The
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know, that's a brand that no longer exists for
SB
obvious
Group.
reasons.
No, It was called ISIS. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
we give them the rundown because they might not know. ISR was once called ISIS.
Oh, we're gonna say it?
Yeah, why
Yeah.
not?
All right,
Yeah.
fuck it.
That's
They're
years
coming.
ago. That's old news.
Yeah,
coming.
Trump took care of that problem, all right? So we don't need to worry about that anymore. All right, next photo is 2015. So
That photo's sick.
yeah, all the photos with the fucking E-Town wall in the back are the best.
Yeah, that was,
I just love
Good
that
time.
stock Type X
1J.
arrow,
It's-
dude.
So this is all
Maybe
1J
the same
stuff.
photo right there.
Then I got the
bet
cage.
it's the same
I'm like
photographer.
looking at it. And
Okay,
then,
so you cage it.
I think my first official A group event was whatever that year was Sleigh Ride, or something around that time.
Oh, okay.
That photo has to be the same photographer, the one that's on the wall
It is. Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I honestly don't know what's going on there.
Yeah,
but
just I see e-fans and stuff. You're trying to figure out the fan situation probably too.
Stop.
yeah, but I
Type
always like
X.
ran that same stuff.
The Brit seat.
Oh, the pillow's not upside down. Ooh.
Yeah, why does everybody do that?
I don't fucking know.
Because they saw one dude do it in Japan. So that was it. Oh, what is
else we got?
this?
What is that, Zeta
That's
3?
Kanan.
Okay.
Is that an older track?
I mean, kinda.
Throw
yeah,
it up. Throw it up.
Kinda, because they don't allow drifting anymore. Cause, but
That's just how. That's the shenanigans. man.
PJ posted a picture of that like a few days ago, and I was like, Jesus Christ! If I knew like what I knew now,
Whoa.
and like I could go back there,
Whoa.
That
what
place-
is
Oh,
this?
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah,
Wait, this looks so fun. Wait,
That was
it was in
where-
Kanan, New Hampshire.
like,
Yeah.
It looks,
This is where the first special stage East was hosted.
Let me see if I could jump
it
to
looks
that.
smooth.
Yeah, I drove. It was like a 7-hour drive. Like street drove it up there, drove on the same tires, and came back.
This is one of my favorite photos of Josh's
Ideal. That is.
because
Yeah,
he doesn't have
photos.
black
Damn,
wheels
that sucks.
anymore.
What was the name of that track?
Oh, it was just Kanan like Speedway or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Damn.
But,
oh, okay.
the
Yeah.
dude was like a road
here's-
racer, like rich dude, and then he'd always cry about the stupid grass, and
Dude,
it
there's
turns into this
dirt.
whole thing. Yeah, like I remember one time he made us like sweep it, like he stopped all of us, like we all had to stop drifting. Everyone had a broom. Everyone had to sweep
Oh
the
my
straight
God.
because we were like dirt dropping, and then me and Tom like hid in the woods and
That's
like
what they do in
Hit in
at
the woods.
Sportland Yamanashi.
They-
I think after the event they clean up like any like loose like chunks of tire.
Yeah, but they're Japanese. They're used to being polite.
They're very clean.
Yeah.
at Mahon they do that.
Josh
too.
is from New York.
Dude.
At Mahon at the end of their events they sweep the track.
Oh
everyone.
yeah. So this is the photo from Special Stage, right?
Yep.
Okay. So this is like Front
Alex-
Street, the last one. Front Street came out full force.
Yes, I saw that photo.
That's the photo that I
came
So the
across
first
that.
car with the Type X front, that's my car now.
Yeah, it's
so you
Alex's
know.
old car.
That's Alex's old car. That's my current car.
That's your coupe.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's mine. And then that's Joe. It's Tom, me, and Chris Kachese probably thrown up somewhere because he left Englishtown.
He was at a new track. He
Yep.
drifted that track too, right?
Yep.
Wow. Proud of him.
And he drove his car up there.
So this is at that Canaan place.
Canon, yeah. Or
Canon.
Canaan, I don't know. Where was this?
That I definitely remember that photo. This is early Instagram stuff.
Yeah.
Like-
No, Instagram was in full force at this time.
Uh,
I think
really?
early Instagram was like 2012.
What is
like,
this? 20,
I remember that night.
16, 17, 16?
I remember that night. It was snowing and there was salt all.
This
the
was on Route 23, I think. And Justin was with us, right?
Yep.
So I saw that
Street
photo.
drifting in the fucking snow.
I saw that photo and I was like, thank God somebody did it because I was waiting for somebody to do that vinyl.
What the
Oh,
signal
the
splash?
signal.
Yeah.
Looking back on it and knowing what I know now, I definitely wouldn't do that. But
Yeah.
for the time, it was pretty good.
There's snow on the ground.
FY, don't
Yeah.
put signal splash if you don't get approval from Signal Auto members. FY. So if you got a signal splash, take it off.
Yeah. The next photo is me and Josh street drifting or something one night. But there was snow on the ground, so it's kind of ridiculous. But
I mean, that's kind of like what we used to do.
What?
Cause well, you're
Another
street
street
driving your
drifting
car. Like you have no choice. If you want to go drifting, you just go.
That's like the best part of having a hatchback. Like you could just load your shit up and
Yeah.
go to the track with it.
Is that Johnny?
Yep.
yeah, this Johnny,
Johnny when he used to drift.
Johnny, Josh, and
You,
me
um,
after some street drifting.
Do you remember that
I
night?
met-
That
I met-
hatch went.
I
South.
met Johnny before he went Type X.
He was the first one that I met who had a 240. That wasn't you.
I don't remember how I met Johnny.
Because
I definitely met him through you, Frankie.
I
Yeah,
remember
he
was
literally
at a-
showed up at Nissan when I was working one day, and my boss was like, "Yo, your boy came through." I'm like, "Who?" And he's like, "I don't know. He got one of your cars." And I was like, "Oh." And then like I'd see him drive by, and I'm like, "What the like? Who is that?" And then like yeah, he just showed up and he like bought a bumper or something, like a Type X bumper. Yeah, he bought the Type X bumper from us.
from Nissan.
Probably from me technically.
Oh, it's cool as hell.
That was when Frankie was
Yeah.
double dipping.
Yeah, I was
He
I
was
was
like-
Nissaning
He
and
was trapping,
factioning.
yeah, faction on one phone, and
And Nissan parts
Nissan.
on the other.
you need OEM stuff.
Yeah, you need OEM parts? All right. And I would just order it from them, sell it to
Take
myself
it.
for like nothing, and then sell it. Yeah.
Hustle. No, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
I Johnny was one of the first ones that I had a 240 aside from Chris that I knew. I think because I met him at a Club Loose event and his car blew up and he went home on a trailer.
Well, I knew Johnny because I did his SR swap.
Oh, shit.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I got slideways. That was around the time where like wiring specialties wasn't really a thing, where you had to
Splice
wire
everything.
the pigtail harness for the.
I think it was becoming a thing just then, but it's like.
I had a
well,
wiring specialties harness in my car.
the shop you were at wasn't about to buy that, so.
No, we bought them before,
Oh, you did? I thought you
Yeah.
guys always just.
but there was a time where we had to do the dash plug every single time.
Yeah, that was like inevitable.
Yeah.
I remember like even doing that with the K,
Mhm.
like the single cam to dual cam.
Yep.
So the next photo is. Super D? What is this? When did you total this thing?
Final about 3.
So this is Final Bout 3.
You ended up totaling this thing?
So what had happened was I had the whole hot road arrow and everything. I never had fiberglass arrow ever, so I was like always already paranoid. So what we used to do was well, not what we used to do, but Chris had this idea where we would use skate light as like
A
like
skid
bump,
plate.
I had
Has
the
a
same
skid
thing then,
plate.
too.
and that could take a hit better. It was like water resistant, so we didn't have to worry about it. So what we did was we would make this bracket that would bolt onto the bumper support, and we would face it down. So when it would hit the car, like when the body of the car would like hit the floor, it would hit that, but it wouldn't like chew the bumper. So when I had crashed after the competition, it was like already nighttime. I hit the wall, and that crazy like support that I had for it, it was attached to the frame rail, and it ended up sending like force to like the driver like rear frame rail, and I had a rust spot on the back, like underneath the cross
Ooh.
member, and it just like sheared my frame, and it was like the hit wasn't bad, like that could have been fixed, but it was just what happened from rust being exposed. It like ripped that off, and it wasn't savable, unfortunately.
Damn.
Like it just like wasn't worth the work.
And then that
was a
essentially
bad night.
transition. You didn't even try to repair. You just transitioned to.
Yeah, so remember how I said I was kind of like at a plateau where I was like I don't know what I want to do with this car anymore.
Yeah.
I had bought that S15. I'm like, well, I'm looking at my photos now. So
I'll
I had
send-
the
I'll put it
S15. So I was thinking at that time, like, all right, I'm going to put the 1J in that car anyway, like, do all this shit. And then when I ended up seeing the car in person, I was like, I can't do this. Like,
It's the same thing when I got my black car.
For those of you who don't know,
Too
Josh
nice.
has an S15.
We're showing it now,
That
and I'll show what he means by it's so clean.
it's really
Yeah, what
fucking.
year is that? Because I remember you getting that.
02.
Oh, 2017 is when he got it. If that's
Oh,
what
like
you're asking.
when you
It's
got
been 5 years at this point.
it. Okay.
I was
yeah.
just thinking about it the other day. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, I do remember when you bought it, and then I remember seeing you pulling the motor out and all that.
Yeah.
Damn, that's the underneath of it.
Yeah.
Yep. I was like, I can't do
Oh
this. Like,
shit.
and I like
So
while it was fresh, I like primered all like the jams and the seals and everything. I poured 15 underneath the car. I had a S14 at the time, so I took all like the subframe, the front and rear end out of that car because everything was like refreshed with like bushings and everything. It was just easier to plop that, and I kind of like built that car in a month and a half.
That's fucking.
And then I bought like a turnkey S15 swap from some dude that like he put a RB26 in his S15, so I got like a full drop-in swap and
6-speed and
it's kinda-
everything.
Yeah, 6-speed.
So that's a Spec S.
It's a Spec S car and then just full like Spec R drivetrain.
Dude, yeah, that's.
And it's plug and play. Like it was an automatic car, so same shit as S14. Just jump the wire and that's it. Like turns on.
That you do not see an S15 every day, like.
And that one is extremely clean.
It
Yeah.
had,
he keeps
I
it
think it
that
had
way.
like 37,000 miles when I first got it.
Yeah.
Kilometers, so it's probably like 25, 27.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
And now
dude.
it has like 100,
I just like those-
106.
I just like there's a photo of a
106,000?
nuclear explosion every so often in your photos because something breaks.
Fuck, dude. That's.
So yeah, then I ended up selling the S14. I put that car back to stock. So I put all the S15 stock shit on that car. I took the SR out of it. I sold it to Joe. I took his K. I put that, and then I sold the S14. So at one point I had the S13, 14, and 15, which is like kind of cool. But
Yeah,
it
that's
was
like
Zen-
every
it was
S
Zenky,
chassis
though.
nerd's dream.
Yeah, literally.
So as you're building this S15, you're also trying to figure out I got to get rid of this car and I got to get a new drift car, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I had parted everything out on the hatch. I don't know exactly where like my plan was car wise, but Alex decided he didn't want to drift no more because we didn't have a shop. I ended up buying that car and like that was that. So he crashed it at Final About 3 also into like one of the Shaw Dynasty cars, and he sold it to me for $5,000. I just sold the stupid 1J out of my car, so now I have another 1J car again. So that car is 1J, Type X, Aero, cage. I got the car for $5,000, but it was crashed. I
So
had
you did a
all the
lot
money.
of work to it
Yeah, so
because I'm showing this photo right now of it when it's
That-
done.
that-
But
That is like.
That was my favorite era.
Yeah.
I bought that car. I remember Valentine's Day of whatever year that was, and I don't know
18.
what 18.
What?
And yeah,
What? That
I-
photo's from March 29th. That means he transformed that whole car into that in like maybe
you
a
want to
month.
know why? Because you told me Naoki was coming and we were going to California.
It's a Super D.
Yeah,
Dude,
Oh, yet
that's
another one that
fucking
Frankie
nuts.
ruins their life real quick.
Well, okay, let me
this
get
was the
something
first
straight.
time we already, went to
We
Wisconsin.
are, but we are the two people that ruin lives of all of our friends.
yeah.
Yeah, like he does it for Front Street, and I do it for Faction.
So he basically coerced me. He's like, dude, this crazy ass event's going on, Super D. It might be in April or whatever. And I was like, holy
Damn, so-
shit, like I gotta go. Like,
You remember when I was telling you about that?
So
wanted
I
to
might be,
go.
I might be
Yeah.
the reason that your car's high now
no.
because I
Not
made
at
you
all.
go to that
So
event.
that car, I wanted to set it up like this to begin with,
Okay.
My only reason why I wanted to at the time is because Alex was gonna do this on his own. He was already
Oh, so he was.
he already wanted to do this. Like he was already like super like inspired by like the C's Garage cars. He was like, I want to put big tires on my car. I want to raise my car and I want to do whatever body kit this is. I don't even think we knew like it was racing line at the time, but
Okay.
he'd always send those pictures like, this is what I want to do.
So this is when
do it a flip
the
up.
transition starts happening.
So I figured, screw it. Like, you know what? I'll build my car like this. Maybe it'll get him motivated to buy another car and do it again. And it didn't for a while, but
But eventually he
yeah,
did
eventually like
actually-
it did.
Yeah.
Click
Dude,
that
that-
photo with like the mismatch arrow and everything.
This,
That looks
Nope,
so
down.
good.
Down.
this.
Over. Yeah.
There we go. I was trying to find a photo of it.
So it's like
Nice
March
on
at that
Sylvia.
point.
Yeah. Sylvia Racing Line kit is just.
I have aggressive now, but every time I look at it, I'm like, I want to have them all.
Yeah.
Like I wish I could just like rotate them like on deck.
Well, I just like it, I like the Racing Line kit. What is the?
I like that it's
aggressive
not
line?
big.
Yeah,
That's
And
my
it-
favorite part.
and it looks different than your standard like BN
big
Arrow
boxy,
is like
yeah.
like,
well,
you know,
BN's like bubbly, but
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
upside down FedEx box.
That's
like-
yours.
Like, but like it just looks different. Also, the fact that you painted the other layer like on the bottoms, like you
This-
painted
the
them a
silver.
different
Yeah.
color.
Trim, yeah.
Like silver
Fuck.
undertone.
Damn.
So yeah, that was like the start of that car. So I had the 1J in that. We went to Super D. My life really got corrupted at that point.
Yeah,
was
Super
like-
D was. I feel that's what I was saying the other night on a podcast. I said Super D was really the
Pivotal.
yeah.
So that's
Seeing
that's what you would
Naoki
call
and
the
Julian
turning-
and everyone.
That's a
Yeah.
turning point for you.
Yeah.
Super.
Turning point for me, because now we're like on the complete opposite end coast. I want to say, I don't know, like there is more to drifting other than what's in the East Coast, and that was like just a big eye opener in general. Like that was kind of like the first time where you feel like you're a big fish in a small pond, and then you go outward that way, and then you have international guests, and then you feel really small in a really big pond real quick. And
Damn.
you're like, wow, like if you thought you were good, like just get that thought like out of your head to begin with, because you're not.
These are some photos I'm gonna send right now. This is before you went to Super D, right? Or no. So
No,
you
this
did.
is
Yeah,
way
this is after
after.
Super D.
Yeah, Super D is like 2018.
So the vinyl came after Super D. I was just trying to find some Super D photos, but I guess
I don't have any because
Okay.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
didn't do anything crazy. I was drifting, but
yeah.
nothing like memorable or like worth noting.
So driving with all of those other influences, you saw the you were
I
just
wasn't
like,
even driving with them. I watched this. I mean, like Naoki was like gunning down cars with double the horsepower and like
Yeah.
a decreasing radius track, and you're like, wow, like all right, you don't need like any of this crazy stuff. And I remember, mind you, this is a Matsuri, so it was like 48-hour like straight event. Like yeah, like there was no downtime. It was whatever. We got there Friday night, set up. Saturday 10 o'clock. We did not stop. You didn't hear a tire screeching stop till Sunday like 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I remember
Wait,
that.
so
it was literally
nonstop.
all night.
wait, so like any time of the night, like if you just see
never
there's like
stopped.
there's like two cars on track, you're like, damn, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get on.
Just go. It only stopped because I think the generator went out at like 4:35 in the morning, so there was no lights, and we were in the desert, so it was pitch black.
Damn,
Wow.
that's fucking cool.
I remember like looking under that car, and this car had stock brake lines, like just regular knuckles, regular control arms, regular sway bar, like
Oh,
Naoki's
oh,
had
Naoki's
stance-
car?
Yeah, like mind you, like they built the car for him, but it was as bare minimum as it could get. Yo.
We have Ethan Lazarus in the house.
Oh, you were there at Super D, right?
Yeah, he was
You
at
were-
Super D.
You were there.
Grand old time when I told Brian to tape a piece of metal to his lower control arm so he'd stop cooking tie rods.
Yeah, like all of our cars were still like dork spec at the time.
Whoa. Chill.
Wait.
But yeah, like I said, it was just like a completely like just different like game changer. Like seeing like Animal Style kind of like on their home front, like with the driving style that they like to do, and I was like, wow, like I want to do that. Like how the hell do I start doing that? And I don't know, it's kind of
Were you like falling out of love for like the lower style cars at the same time, or was it just like these cars drive harder, so I need to just raise my car? It wasn't
It
about the
was
style.
I couldn't convey how I felt at the time because, like I said, with the hatch, like I felt like I had plateaued already, so
And
I
now
didn't
you
really
went
know
to a
what
coupe.
direction. Yeah, like I didn't know what direction I wanted to go. Like, so I want to say aesthetically, I think at the time, like when I wanted to keep it, I wanted to do like car modify wonder with like a bigger tire setup and
Yeah,
like raise the car and everything. And
but
then
either way, you
add
were
the coupe.
thinking bigger tire. And
Yeah,
everything.
like that car at that time, Super D, it had 235s all around. Mind you, I only had like 2 months to put that car together, so I still had the PBM coilovers that were essentially whatever picture you showed. Like that was
Yeah.
like the max height that you could get out of the rear before it fell out of the shock body. So I couldn't get the car any taller than how I had it at that point.
That is that problem that I'm running with now because of my car. I have an IS and like it runs. I have like BC extreme lows and I can't get it up higher.
Well, that's
Why don't you
because
just get bigger shock bodies?
And I'm gonna eventually.
Yeah, that's
just,
the plan.
Yeah, it's
or
on the
either-
it's on the
either
burner right now.
bigger shock bodies or a longer collar.
Or just switch them out for stands.
Good plug.
But yeah. So the Matsuri thing is sick.
That was the
I didn't know
pivotal-
that. I thought that it was just like a normal.
Yeah,
thing.
no, that was a pivotal point for me for sure. And then
And then you went to
Now-
Japan.
Then you
right?
actually went to Japan.
Yeah.
right?
that wasn't until that was 3 years ago. So that was around
2019.
2019.
So you got
So-
to actually experience
right
that
before
shit.
the pandemic.
That really ruined my that was like the turning point, and then going out there I was like, all right, there's no coming back from this.
Yeah. That's pretty much. There's a lot of photos from this event.
Like
so
if my life wasn't set up the way it is now and I had nothing to lose, I'd be gone. I'd be out there working, doing something somehow to like permanently be out there.
if Jonna wasn't a thing, he'd be
Yeah.
gone.
I'd be so
He'd be in
gone.
Japan.
So gone. Like I do not want to be here. I want to
Yeah.
be here, but mentally, like
Driving
wise, I do not want to be here
Yeah.
at all.
So that was a big moment for you when
Eye
you
It's
were
like a
opener.
big, yeah,
I remember when you came back, you were like really, really stoked on everything. Yeah.
yeah. I was already changing, and then that was kind of like the point of
Well, yeah, because the videos that we would watch, it would be like the flicks were completely different, like the way you're initiating and shit. It just looks so aggressive, and I'm just
American
like, crap.
style drifting is more sweeper and like on throttle, like big open stuff, and everything kind of in Japan, like at least from what it seems like most tracks, like it's designed to entertain spectators. So there's always like a big focal point of a track. So usually like your first turn or like your main straight or something is like where you initiate to like do something kind of like ridiculous. So most of the tracks out there are like decreasing radius, which you're going full sprint as fast as you can and you need to slow down. So that's kind of like the driving style I like, because it's more scary because you're trying to come to a controlled stop while staying on line to get back on throttle and get out. So
Yeah.
it's not so much like reverse entries or doing backies or whatever. It's like the style of driving I like is aggressive tracks with layouts that have decreasing radius
And dangerous.
and dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So you're heading into the corner as fast as you can, pretty much.
like
Yeah.
I like that.
So
basically coming to a controlled stop.
so technical.
And you,
Yeah, there's a lot more thought. Like you're looking like where you want to go and like point the car, as opposed to like driving a skid pad or an oval where you're like yeehaw, like flooring it. Like I just have no interest in doing anything like that. Like
Yeah.
it's easy to stack up on a big wide course that you're on throttle. Like
Because you have time to correct and shit, like in that bigger course.
not
I
even
feel.
time. There's nothing scary about it. It's I don't know. I don't want to like shit on it too much because that's kind of like people like that's what they like to do, but that's just not what I'm into, and I'm just
Yeah.
not interested in entertaining that kind of driving.
Yeah.
Like some tracks we go to, like you're kind of forced to run like a layout like that, like where you're like kind of manging like in the middle and like doing like swoopy slow stuff stacked. Like yeah, it's fun for tandem and like getting close, but I wanna die.
yeah. I feel the same way about manjiing though. Like every time there's a manji section or something, I'm like, ugh.
So aside from Club Loose, like what would you say your favorite course is? Like to emote that kind of Japanese style, I guess.
Here in the U.S.
In the U.S.
Before they've ruined it, Apple Valley, Grange, they made it wider. So
It made it easier.
yeah, like they could have not made it as wide as they could, but like now they got like people doing like 360s down the street. Like it's too wide.
Yeah,
Like
if they're doing
before-
that, then it's
Like
definitely
that
too wide.
Super D,
I
that
know.
Super D event, like you could barely fit 3 cars across. Like if there was 3 cars going down the street and they were like nose to tail, the third car was already like basically in the gutter of the opposite side. Like there was no room to breathe. Like you had to, be aggressive, stay on the track
There's no
at the
room
same
for error.
time. Yeah, there's no room for error because if not, you were going through the dirt and through the brick wall.
And the drop off on the track was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It
Did
was,
you
It was like a foot.
how did you like that one, Frankie? Did your
It
transmission?
was horrible.
I'm just kidding.
No,
I already know.
It was
about
cool to
it.
spectate, but my car was too.
He's got a heavy foot.
Yeah, I spent way too much time prepping my car for that event to just break it by falling off the track on the first turn. So I wasn't even mad. I was like, whatever. I keep throwing Malcolm some photos to put up. This is just when the car still looked the same. And I mean, the second to last one we did was Tree Turn. You can probably tell at Englishtown.
I remember that. That's before I put the stock outers back on. I couldn't get the car backwards.
And
And
this is what we're
Yeah,
talking
you were
about
running
dangerous.
SPL before, right?
yeah,
I remember.
That's Jeff Stonebag eating the tires.
I got a clip of that. We were doing like a
Oh.
little under 100. It was like hot lap.
Yeah.
So
I
you're
remember he
starting
had
from
the-
like the back.
Yeah, we started from the back.
So
That
thi-
one I maxed pretty bad.
Yeah,
Fuck.
this is what he means by like. So now the driving is getting way crazier than,
Well,
than it was.
that
Before.
to be fair, that photo was like very pathetic. It was
Okay.
cold, and I pulled the e-brake, and the car just snapped into the
So that was just
tires.
an accident.
Yeah, it was just a dumb accident. That's Tom being dumb.
Yeah, that's not even worth putting up. It's just Tom changing another transmission or something.
Yeah.
Damn. I
All right, here we go.
I wonder when that turning point is gonna be for us. 'Cause I like this year, like Frankie and I've been talking, or well,
Might be a
I
better
actually
photo.
talking. I actually like
It
to
took
bug
me
Frankie
years.
about
It literally took me years.
Like yeah, but you never. I feel like when you're in that moment, you probably didn't even. You were just
Realize.
trying to. You were just trying to get better at what you love.
Josh,
You always think, I don't know, I don't know how to like really like convey this, but I basically obviously like your driving experience at this point, like what you know is what you know, and like that's it. Like you are at your ultimate form right now, and then at some point, like 2 years, 3 years down the road, you're gonna look back at this exact moment and be like, wow, like I didn't know shit, and I thought I was really good, or I thought like I was decent enough to do this, but I was actually really trash. And I have that epiphany every single time I drive.
Yeah.
And I'm always pushing to, like elevate or try something more dangerous, or I don't know, I don't really know what I'm getting at here, but
No, I mean you just progressing your driving.
you're progressing in your driving,
And then you look back and you're like, well, that's kind of whack.
yeah,
like what
and
you
then
were
you
doing.
learn so much like in between, like it's just growth,
Yeah.
honestly.
So the next photo I sent him is I think a competition you won, right?
Yeah,
Spirit?
Street Series, U.S. Drift. I
Oh, it was
placed.
US
I got
Drift?
second. Yeah,
Oh shit.
my favorite number. Never
Oh,
win
because
it.
you keep going second. I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah, at
never win.
Super
I only
D he
won one
competed
time.
too. So at Super D
Got
Midwest,
second.
he got second place as
I
well.
got second.
So this is when the competition shit kind of starts, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's U.S. Drift Street Series. I got second in that. I've only won one competition.
Which one was that?
Yeah.
That was Lock City Street Series, the first one. And my car kept falling apart, and then it's like either like kept placing or something stupid would happen.
I want to drive Lock City. It looks fun.
Going in like, well, allegedly in like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Is that the one that you told me about?
Yeah, we're trying to get everyone to go.
Yeah.
You told me about this a week ago. And you're
Martino's
So
like,
what's
coming.
up?
You're driving.
Oh my
Martino's
God,
coming.
there was-
Martino's
that
coming. Yeah, I
photo
remember. Yeah, he was
is
in the chat
early
one night.
stages of the shop being redone.
Yeah, the alignment photo.
Wow. What happened?
It looks awesome. That's what happened.
To comment on the turning point that you experience, I feel like for me and Carl is if we had a designated drift car, it would be a lot sooner. Because like me drifting to Sylvia, like I'm never gonna get there.
I feel like you're always just scared. You're gonna mop it up. And
I think
crash
that made it easier for me too, because then I had the S15 as a street car, and then the other car, I'm like, whatever. Like,
dude, that thing is. Now that I've seen the photo of what it looks like underneath, fuck.
All right, here's another changing moment. You propose to
oh
Jonna.
god,
Oh shit! And you got a house.
yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
you're out here living because this isn't your like. I feel like everyone thinks this is like everyone's full time thing, right?
Well,
Everyone
with
has to
Josh, it
make a
kind of
living.
is.
Yeah. It's
Like,
you
I was
were
gonna get to that.
Front Street basically becomes a second job, and then try to balance drifting, and then you gotta
It is crazy
try to
though.
balance a it's hard. It's not easy.
I can't believe you got a fucking house. I remember that. I was like, damn, you got a house, and then you propose. I'm like, damn, he's gonna get married, and he's doing all the drifting, like
Them rates in.
all of it.
Yeah.
That's
It was not easy. I'll tell you that.
Well,
And if I made it look easy, sorry, it's not,
you did make it look easy.
because I don't sleep.
you got us over here thinking like fuck.
Yeah, that
doing
was.
shit wrong.
Well, Josh struck luck, man. You know, like shout out to Jonna for putting up with all that. Like,
Oh my god!
I don't think anybody
dude.
would want to go to every single event.
Wish
you know
I
what
could.
mean?
Where could I find that video? This immediately knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, when he's doing a donut and she's just like over it.
There's this video of Jonna that's filming herself inside the passenger seat of Josh's car one night. He's in a parking lot just drifting around, and all you see is just Jonna's face and her hair blowing back and forth in the
And you
middle.
just hear like one J like.
Yeah, you just hear the one jack, and it's just hair going back, and she's like this, just dead face, like
She's just over it.
fucking, like eyes rolling back and forth. That's my favorite video ever.
But yeah, I mean that's my rock and my sports system.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. That's always good to
Gotta
hear,
wife
man.
that.
Always
I
always
think,
love to hear somebody succeeding.
Yeah.
Not everyone has that luxury. And
Me and Frankie and Chris and
Well, I don't, you're my support system, Carl.
not
Oh
saying
my.
that she lets everything like
What?
go, like, oh yeah, just do whatever you want, but
I'm keeping you alive.
Wow, Chris got mad at that. All right, I take it back.
now you take it back. No, but do you have any more questions about
I got
the
a lot.
past?
I got a few.
All right, because I have obviously I want to ask like what's in the future.
There are
so
a couple
continue.
questions in the chat too. so-
Yeah, let's go to the chat real quick.
Yeah, with the chat's been going on here. Let's read a couple of them down here. White S15s suck. Mike Martino.
Yeah, well, he's
big
got one.
factuals. That's why he changed the color of his car.
Ethan, he not this Ethan in the room, but Ethan in the chat asked this probably about almost an hour ago. He asked, "Is it better to have a mentor / friend with more knowledge and resources than you, or should you make your way up by yourself?"
That's a good question, because I feel like I was a guinea pig, like personally, for a lot of things, because I didn't really have anyone to reach out to or talk to. So, I unfortunately made a lot of mistakes, but that's kind of where I got to like where I am now, like where you were saying before, like, kind of like the OCD thing. Like,
Oh yeah,
you wouldn't know that these things happen unless it actually happened to you, like, or you wouldn't take something as serious as if someone with more experience is telling you like, oh hey, like do this. But I mean, I want to say now, like, drifting's so saturated and accessible, there's a lot of people that have, mentors and people that you can look up to and talk to for things. And that definitely, rapidly, like, exponentially, like, pushes your progression level. And you see it now with, like, a lot of younger kids or parents that are, first of all, parents, like, being supportive in the hobby that they want to do, like getting them a sim or even helping them buy a drift car, or, like, just being, like, a track dad, like, bringing them to the track. There's a lot of kids that are coming up that are ridiculous at this time.
right.
Yeah, like
It's kind of getting kind of like how, skateboarding is now, where you see, like, all these prodigies, like 8-year-old, 10-year-old prodigies.
Oh yeah.
well, that's actually one of my questions. So let me just get into this while we're on it. Basically, I was gonna say, how does it feel to have kids in the drift scene looking up to you? And as I'm writing this, I'm like having a realization. Like I'm like, well, I never really thought about it till I started asking this question, but it really is similar to when you were skateboarding. When you're younger and you're looking up to these people that are like not necessarily pros, but they got like sick videos, and like you see them in different videos on well,
like subculture, like,
Like DVDs
niche,
and
like
shit.
aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, for us. But like, and now it's like now we're becoming the same thing to them, except
Yeah.
it's
Just
even more easily accessible, kind of.
You
'Cause back then
kinda-
it was like you're watching DVDs and shit
yeah. I mean,
for
we've
that.
been doing this. It seems like we're always trying to like reach to find the next thing, but like when you look back on it, like we've had this whole podcast where I'm like, that was what year? Like I did that,
Yeah.
like, and I'm like looking at all these pictures, and there's just been so much growth, and there's like a journey along the way,
Well, like
which is pretty sick.
as an like right here, me sitting right here, I'm an example of that because I ask you a bunch of shit.
Yeah, like I think Carl's. I always think you're like on the same level as me. Same thing with Chris. But then
No,
I'm
no,
like,
no.
I guess they're a little.
know a
they're a
little
couple
bit
years before.
Yeah, and I didn't really get fully enveloped in this thing until like, I don't know, until I started working and I started buying shit.
Yeah.
And then and like spending money to go to track days or this
Everyone
and that
has a
and the third.
different time for growth. Like,
Yeah, like
if I could
that's-
have done it sooner, I would have. If I had like a mentor or something who could steer me in the right direction, or even someone other than my parents, like an actual adult that could have told me like that's into drifting, like, hey, like if you really want to get into this shit, like you should really think long term, like get like a real like solid career that's gonna allow you to afford drifting and do like this kind of stuff.
Well,
A lot
I
of
mean-
people don't have that, and then they kind of get stuck in these like weird patterns where you know they're buying and selling shit on their car just to get by, and then they get phased out, and then they have, you know, no job, or you know, like struggling to make ends meet.
that
But
was literally me like what 2 years ago, a year ago.
Yeah.
And then Frankie is yelling at me.
I think
like,
you're talking to Carl right
you
now.
keep fucking buying all these cars and shit.
He sent me wheels today. He's like, yeah,
I
do
never
you
sell.
think these would
I
look
never
good?
sell cars. Like whatever car I have, like I'm gonna die with it. Till,
Yeah, and or total it.
Or total it. Yeah, but
at
it
that,
seems like
yeah.
Even when it's totaled, you're gonna try to keep it.
yeah, like it's you can buy just about any corner of the car at this point now.
Yeah,
Like you can make it.
I
you can
just
make it
found
work.
that out recently.
yeah.
Just because I'm like, I'm tired
Like I
of
said,
fucking.
it happens. It's there's
switching.
growth. I'm 32 now. Like how old are you?
I'm 27.
Yeah, like at 27, we were drifting in the snow,
Yeah,
like doing
which
like,
I would probably
extra
still
dumb
do.
Shit.
No,
Yeah,
no,
like,
I wouldn't do that.
I
But
definitely wouldn't. But
No way, I don't think I would do. I work. It's the part now that like I appreciate it in a different way. Like when I was a kid, like I would just toss around. I had an S13 hatch with an SR in it. Didn't appreciate it for what it is. Sold it and shit because I wanted to try to do other things.
well, Carl has this thing where he's addicted to buying cars. Straight up. I mean,
I love buying
because you
shit.
want to change. You like
I
changing.
want to experience
things.
it all. Like,
Yeah.
You know?
That is
We don't
Carl's
have that.
definition.
Me and Josh are
we're
the
like
opposite.
the same.
Yeah, we don't have that issue. When we get something, we keep it until literally. Like I still have my car from 2012,
Yeah,
and the only way I'm getting rid of it is if I total it.
I would have kept my car like if I could have, like my hatch that I was drifting.
Yeah,
Things change and like things happen that are beyond your control, and you gotta work with it.
as long as you got a Chris or a Tom or an Ethan that can weld everything for you, then you're good. Because I mean, our cars have been twisted and shit before. Like,
I guess that's also like a message in case we have like any young listener. If there are any young listeners out there, we got some good language.
I
in
mean,
here.
some good info right off the bat would be try to figure out what you want before you start buying
Yeah,
cars.
but you can't tell somebody to figure something out right off the.
No, you
rip.
can because they got YouTube. They got
before
all
you
of
even
us.
figure out what you want to buy, figure out where
You want to end up.
where you want to end up in life, because this is not. I mean, like earlier, like we didn't know that like this would grow to what it is now. It's so saturated and exposed. Like this is never going anywhere, and it's only gonna get bigger.
Yeah.
The only problem I can see now is if someone's having FOMO of buying a certain car that they might not be able to afford because it's going to be more expensive later on. Yeah, but I don't know. Try not to. I mean, I'm going to sound like a hypocrite, but try not to have like FOMO, like, oh, like I need to like make this event, or I need to do like this. Like think long term, like get your money together, have a plan, and things kind of just I don't know.
Definitely do sound like a
That's like the
hypocrite.
most. That's like the most like logical
I just
advice.
work more hours,
But that's smart though.
yeah, like you gotta think ahead,
Yeah, for sure.
especially like if you're young. Like if this is something you want to do, like not saying you gotta go to school, but really figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
figure out where you want to live, the cost of living, actually like talk to people that are experienced and drifting and that are really in it, not like, oh, I hit like 1-2 events, like people that are like regularly making events. Like I could break down like how much a season costs, like
Yeah.
at this point, like how much tires are, like.
So to
Yeah.
answer the question, yes, having a mentor would probably be very helpful.
Yeah.
And not to plug the YouTube, we have a lot of informational videos on like kind of do's and don'ts, sort of.
And I mean, we keep making
It's
them every
basically
week.
just
so.
advice and like information that not a lot of people put out there. We make these videos because we've been through the experience so that you guys don't have to, and then you can make the right choices and not waste your money. So
Yeah. But also take it with a grain of salt too.
yeah,
I'm the ignorant side. Like I made a lot of mistakes going through. You know this. Chris would always tell me the right thing. I feel like you and Frankie and Josh, you guys are.
I have like
Well-
a CVS receipt of all the things I've done wrong. Like,
Yeah, like.
Years,
Well, Chris
and
Chris
it
was the one
costs
that
you
would-
money. These
It does.
mistakes cost you money.
Yeah.
and you don't make that mistake again because you fucking paid out your ass to do that, and
Or you
then
do the work twice.
yeah, you gotta do it.
Chris
twice.
was the one that would always tell you not to do something, but
Yeah,
you did it
he is.
anyway.
He's literally the
and
reason.
he didn't listen to anybody until
I
he
don't-
met you.
I don't listen
Didn't
to
he? Because I remember when your car broke down. We talked about it the other one. When your car broke down on the way back from Final Bout, that is when I found out everything about you. Because that was
Thanks.
when all your friends were talking mad shit. Because they're like, "Why are we in this fucking position?" You know, all that. No, I'm kind of
because
kidding.
because
but-
I'm the one who
No,
said
no, no,
that
no, no,
car
no.
would make it.
Yeah, I know. So everyone's like, "What the fuck?"
Oh,
So Chris
is
is-
this what your daily like broke and
Yeah. So Chris is like, Carl, he makes these decisions. I try to tell him not to, and this and that. And I was like, well, you got to start fucking slapping the shit out of him or something because. But it just so happened, like, I feel like that moment might have been a turning point
For Carl?
for Carl.
Yeah, just
For
because I was
sure.
sick of all this shit, man. Like it just sucks. Like
Well,
Because then you kept the IS. You were actually drifting events with it. You don't
well, it
plan
took
on
me
getting
a
rid
while
of it.
to build. It was my daily.
Yeah.
So like I saved up bread, did the manual swap, then welded the diff.
That's the worst thing you could do.
what?
Which-
Drift a daily.
No, because I bought a daily. Like
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it, I like this car. It's a good platform. I can't get into an S chassis again. If I wanted to
Maybe
be
one day.
economical about this.
Yeah.
So I just built it on a stock angle. Then I was like, all right, stock angle's kind of boring. I want to drift harder now.
You just
And
got to
then-
break that addiction of buying shit,
Now, well, yeah. Well,
which
well,
a
that's
lot
why
of people have.
I do. A lot of
Joe.
people have that.
Joe is like that. And
Dude.
just change setups and whatnot.
to branch off Carl's answer just now, Ethan, the same guy in the chat, just asked, and it's probably good for a Carl to answer right now. Would it be more cost efficient to keep one car and keep upgrading it, or keep buying and flipping cars for more experience? Before you give your answer, Carl, I just want to describe Carl in one word. It's all about the experience. With anything.
Fuck you.
Because he just wants to experience everything. He's like, I feel like you're a glass half empty type of person. Like you want to. Is that the right words?
Probably not,
I
but
think it's the
I get
opposite.
what you're
I'm
saying.
glass half full. Like I look at everything as fun. Like I'm like, all right, fuck, that was fun, and then we went on to the next thing.
No, but he just wants to experience everything. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Dude, if I could go back though, I would have kept that patch.
yeah, exactly.
Because
Bef-
like
before
it was,
Derek on the
it
bicycle
was
tanked
done. It was complete. It had an SR, bone stock. I never reached the potential of that car. My driving never exceeded the car.
it, but it doesn't matter. It's getting there now.
Yeah,
so.
I mean,
So what
for-
was the question exactly?
I'll read it again. Would it be more cost efficient to keep one car?
Bring the phone to you because of the mic.
Would it? Would it be more cost efficient to keep one car and keep upgrading it, or keep buying and flipping cars for more experience?
Come on, man.
Keep the one.
That question is self-explanatory.
Yeah, I feel like
Keep
that
the
was
one. What did I have
That
before
see
that?
the person asking that is someone who is just like Carl.
Yeah.
And he's trying to convince himself not to be.
I let me tell you, Ethan. Look here. I had
Look him in the eyes.
I had a silver IS. Nobody knows this, but I had a silver one. This thing was a slick top.
Slick top.
That doesn't.
No sunroof, bro.
That's not an IS like common thing. It was a slick top, had cloth seats, no heated seats, no nothing. That was the car to build. And then guess what happened?
You
I
sold
said,
it.
you know what? I'm gonna sell it. I need a normal daily. What did I get? A fucking Honda Accord. Sold the Honda Accord, got the blue IS, and then it's been there ever since. I've been
Yeah.
having more money ever since then. I could actually improve on my driving because I'm not fucking hopping from car to car.
Yeah, dude. You're not gonna do anything doing that.
Yeah, but well, how many times did you get into a car, mod it, then sell that, then get another car, then mod it, then sell that, then mod it
The
again?
amount of money you've probably dumped. I mean, it's kind of like Tom blowing up engines.
But he
Kinda,
has the
yeah.
same.
You build,
That's a
it's like the
single
same
car.
story over and over and over, but
But
it's
that's
like
one car though.
no,
He's
that's
building on
yeah.
one car.
Props to Tom for keeping one car, but we're just saying, like you get into these situations where it's like,
That boy's a different breed.
yeah, there's something wrong with that. We'll
That-
we'll have Tom on soon.
That guy's a different breed, man.
I don't know if I want to hear his side of the story again for the 9 millionth time,
Yeah.
but whatever.
Agreed.
It
All
is
right,
what
else
it is.
You got?
You gonna answer the question?
Build a one car. Build a one car for sure. Stop spending money, Ethan.
Unless it's like some obscure drift car, then don't do that.
Then don't do that.
Yeah, that's another tip.
Like look at it from a cost. The reason why, again, one of the reasons why I keep the IS is because parts are on the shelf. I can go into an AutoZone and pick up like, I don't know, fucking.
Yeah, and then you compliment how nice the door closes. Oh,
Yeah.
it got AC.
Oh hell
You got
yeah.
a sunroof.
Yeah.
He likes the luxuries.
And then I see one picture of an S13 and I'm like, fuck.
We touched on this before, but I do have a question I want to ask him before we get into more of those
Detail.
questions. Yeah. I'm just gonna read this because it's easier. I was. Oh, let me see what I wrote.
You
here.
sure it's easy to read?
Yeah, it's not because I'm talking. The way I wrote these notes is like me talking to Josh directly.
So talk to Josh. He's
All
right
right.
next to you.
I was like, you are one of the most dedicated grassroots drifters I personally know, which is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have time for anything else? Take me through a weekly schedule. Straight up.
Weekly schedule right now. So, wake up 3:45.
3:45?
Yeah,
Quarter to 4.
this is the thing. I want these listeners to understand what.
What the f-
I
What's
get
going
to
on?
work 4:30. I work from 4:30 currently right now to 6 o'clock. I leave work. I go to the gym. It is about 9:30 at this point. I eat and I go to bed.
And what if you have a drift event that weekend?
I better pray to God that the car works because right now I'm pretty dedicated to the gym right now.
So you probably weren't going to the gym when you had to work on the car or something.
Yeah, so that's kind of like one thing that I've been trying to like focus on more, like my like mental health, like I am at work and I am working, but I'm not working like how most people would, where they're literally straight. Like I have like gaps and like time like in between, like with my schedule and everything. So like if I can multi-manage and like get things done, like go to the gym or like ship out orders for Front Street, or I have an event coming up, I'm gonna drive my car to work, come to Faction, get a line, go back to work, like finish what I gotta do. Like just my time is very valuable and there's definitely no time in my life to be bored, so I'm always like on the move.
That's fucking dedication.
It is,
dude.
though,
What
yeah.
the hell?
He lives in Staten Island, so he's
No, I live in Jersey.
You live in Jersey
I
now.
work in Staten Island.
basically across the river. But so he has to drive all the way up here on his like the time in between shifts or whatever.
At least it's closer from Staten Island to here than it is from my house, luckily.
Oh yeah. So he does that, comes here, gets an alignment. Hopefully we can figure it all out in the
or
amount of
before I
time.
have to get picked up or borrow like your
Yeah.
car.
Then
before I
he has to
come
drive back, and that's happened multiple times. Like, or he'll go,
fucking
or you
beef.
probably go work on your car sometimes too. Like I'm sure.
Yeah,
it's happened
if the
before.
break is like big enough, like right now, like my work schedule is like really bad, so I've not touched the car. Like it hasn't been running right since maybe Grid Life, and I haven't even looked at it. Like I haven't gone near it.
That's
I went to
fucking
the
crazy.
staggered event. I drove it, ran like shit, and I don't know. Like we're trying to do that Lock City event where Martino's coming, and
Yeah.
I pretty much have this weekend to figure it out. Or if not, I'm not going because just my work schedule, and I'm like trying to stay like really like dedicated to like going to the gym and just trying to do something other than drifting.
No,
Yeah.
I'm with that. I'm with that.
So
Which is kind of a first.
yeah,
So
No, like for me,
it was catching up to me. Like they got to a point that like I was feeling like really like shitty.
and look,
in
like,
April.
just like
Yeah, like I
God.
just felt so like disgusting with myself. Like mind you, like my job occupation, I'm like always in the seat. I was just about 190 in April, and I'm now like the lightest that like I've weighed in like a long time. I'm like 167 now. So just trying to not branch off that and have like another outlet other than cars,
Yeah.
because
that's good.
fun.
That's a good
like,
idea.
nah, and like there's more to life than that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
And you don't want
ask
to.
Frankie to go out to eat or let me know when you go shooting. Or,
Yeah.
and then he doesn't.
Yeah, I gotta get better at that.
This guy
Ethan's
fucking
in the same boat. Don't
never
worry.
invites me to any. Actually, you do now. Because we're boys now.
He always does that. He'll say something like,
Dude, every time we go to Gorilla Grill, I fucking forget. I'm like, God fucking damn it. But the thing is, we always decide that shit late.
Drive 1 hour just
I know.
The
Well, the
thing
thing
is,
is, he
like,
would
I,
do it,
I
though.
would though, because
Yeah.
I want to hang out with my boys.
So
and
next time we're calling.
Yeah.
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 That's a good, like,
We could have a sleepover again at Frankie's when he finally finishes his apartment.
Yeah, I'm doing some painting right now.
I've
and
been
stuff,
trying to.
so.
I've been literally been telling Frankie to paint, or I've been talking to Frankie about house stuff, and whenever we do that, that's an example right there. It's like nice
To not talk about
to not
cars?
talk about cars,
Yeah.
because then you're like exploring. It's like newer to
Like-
me, like the house stuff.
It's like
That's
texting
like
a girl
one
for the
thing
first
I've
time.
done. Like, I kind of just like go on like a rampage. Like, if I see someone like complaining about their car on like Facebook, like I'll unfriend them and like I just like I don't know. I just kind of like on my Instagram and like everything else. I've kind of been just deleting all like the unnecessary car stuff I really don't want to see because I already understand like the niche aspect in drifting that I want to see, and like I can count like the 10 cars that I want to see like on hand drive.
Yeah.
So everything else is like just a distraction for me. But like I love like seeing like people that like I grew up with, like, you know, doing house stuff or like getting married. Like, I mean, it sounds like repulsive to some people,
We're
but
in our 30s now.
yeah, like I don't know. I like
That's
seeing.
it.
I like people like seeing people do shit like that, or like, oh, like they did something like on their house, like, oh, like that's dope, and like
Yeah.
I'll BS with them, or like, oh, like what paint or like what'd you use, like I
Yeah.
don't know, like just another.
It's another outlet. Yeah, literally another outlet.
Mhm.
And
I mean,
like,
that was kind of me with motorcycles, too.
I mean, that's still like a motorsport, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Like,
it's different because I'm surrounded by this all day.
so
and
yeah.
then-
So
it's
just an
different.
outlet, yeah.
Yeah.
so
So,
for sure on the weekends.
I mean, like working on it and stuff is similar, but my bike's new, so I don't really do that. Like I modified it, and then that was it.
You just like to ride it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I like. That's
So-
really what I want to do on Friday.
It's kind of like where my car is now too. Like I, like experience wise, like I don't see the need to like buy like this new like revolutionary part. Like my car, the only reason like why I'm working on my car is because something broke on it, and I'm just replacing what broke, and that's it. Like I'm
Yeah.
not seeking.
Although you
new-
do.
I'll
change
tinker with
setup-
like
yeah,
set like
setups and
alignment
whatnot.
setup and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but the parts are staying the same, like the power levels, you know, staying the same. I just want to stay on track and keep doing what I'm doing. So that's kind of help with my other outlet, like with the gym too. Like I have, you know, something else to look forward to, and I know the car works for the most part, so I can just get to it like when I can.
That shit goes hand in hand too. Like if you're in a drift car and you're fucking out of shape, and it's hot.
Yeah. You ever have?
What you
I
trying
think
to say?
that all goes out the window for me. Like the second I'm in the car, I don't think about that. These are like things that like I think about like when I'm at work or like when I'm just not moving and I'm stagnant. Like that's kind of like when my mind's going. But like drifting is
Or like what-
my brain is not there.
Or like when you're about to go to bed and you're like, shit, I should start going to bed.
Sometimes, dude. Sometimes I grab that e-brake a little too hard. I get out of that car. I'm like, God damn.
Because you're jacked.
No, I'm like,
Oh,
my
you're
fucking
saying,
arm
you're saying
hurts.
it's too much.
I felt that when we tandemed. at
Right?
That, when we remember we were at our
It's happened to me a couple
the
times.
private day.
Yeah.
I just kept pulling because I didn't want to spin out, because I was scared that I was gonna spin out and like Frankie was just gonna be right there on me. But where I was pulling it so many times, or like I was starting to cramp in my forearm.
Yeah, literally. Well,
Eat some
Miyagi sucks
bananas.
too because it's like the seat is it's all
Oh, yeah,
awkward.
yeah.
So like that was really where my
Obscure drift
You need
cars,
that.
Yeah.
You need that potassium.
problems.
That's
not
what
an
it
S chassis, not the right car.
is.
I was gonna say, can we talk about donkey style, or is that too underground for this podcast? That was pretty
It's
much.
not really underground. I'll cover like the basis of it, like kinda how it started. So first off, it has nothing to do with ride height or like anything like that.
Damn.
Um,
Okay, I was
everybody's
wrong on
always
that.
like,
Because
yo, that
that's
shit
everyone's
donkey.
yeah, like that's literally not what it was. It was just like an inside joke. Remember when Abo came to Virginia?
Yeah, we just talked about this.
Yeah, so basically what it was, you know, he doesn't really speak English good. So he was saying something like, "Oh, I'm coming to America. I want to show you my Dory style." And then just the way it sounded like he said, "I want to show you my donkey style." And like James like lost his mind, hysterical laughing. He's like, "What the hell is donkey style?" And we just started like pretending like, "Oh yeah, like we were saying like, oh yeah, that's donkey, like just like ridiculous things that like would never be that, but it never had anything to do with like
But it kinda-
drift cars or anything like.
It kind of turned into it though, because then it was bozo and donkey style.
Yeah, like we just like made like random, I don't know, like terms, but it never had anything. It never had anything to do with, oh, like donkey means this and bozo means this. It was just we're just messing around, like trolling, making memes.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
pretty much it. Like
That was the-
I was just the stunt driver. I wasn't making any of that.
Everyone loves donkey style though. All right. Any more questions from the live stream? No.
I had a question of like, what do you? So are you just gonna continue to keep driving the same chassis? That's your future entails.
I
you know?
only like S chassis, so whatever is obtainable, like S chassis, I'm just gonna keep doing that.
And that goes back to your other question: is it worth changing cars and trying to? There you go.
Yeah.
He's not interested in doing that.
Yeah.
And he personally thinks that S chassis is the best drift car. I think.
It looks the best drifting.
It is literally. The
It
best.
is aesthetically the most pleasing car in all forms except Zenki and convertible.
So like this is like the opposite of Carl
Yeah.
because you want to try different things.
Well, now I'm like.
Josh
well,
wants to pick. He's like, okay, this is the one.
I like other cars, but not for drifting.
Yeah.
And
I-
if someone's like drifting that car, it's like, cool, like you can enjoy that for you, but I'm gonna keep doing like what
It's
I'm
good
doing.
for you.
For you,
Can't,
it's good.
You can't with like, you can't drift the IS the same way that an S13 can, and that's why I'm with the fact that, yeah, they look the best drifting, they drift the best, and they have like a crazy aftermarket support. You can fucking do whatever the hell you want if you wanted to.
I like the IS because I like the 110. That's like the only like nice JZX car in my opinion because it looks like an IS.
Yeah.
I mean, I had one. Like, it's a sick looking car. Like, will it drive like an S chassis? No.
Fuck, no.
But like, what is your exact? This is just a personal question for me because me and you are pretty similar. So I want to know, like, when you see a JZX drifting or something, are you like, you still appreciate watching it, or are you like, this is just dumb because it's not S chassis?
I don't say it's dumb. I look
I mean,
at it.
I
and
mean,
it's
in your
just like-
mind, yeah.
I'm watching it drive and I'm like, yep, that's a drift car. Like, I don't know,
So
like-
it's not even really like entertaining. Like, you just want to see S chassis drifting.
yeah, there's sick driving that goes on with like all cars, but then my brain is just mathematically computing that it's not an S chassis, and I'm like, all right, next, like, and then it could be like an S chassis spinning. I'm like, oh, the car looks cool. Like,
Yeah, literally.
just,
All right, I'm gonna start reading some of these Facebook questions and then we'll end this. I mean,
Yeah, right.
sorry, Instagram.
We're at 2 hours.
Yeah. So, I'm so bad at this because I just don't read their names. Because every time I go to read their Instagram name, I don't know what the fuck it says. Like, get some better names, guys.
_74.
Yeah, this one's easy. Samurai Chad. He asked a bunch of questions. So,
That's a med.
oh, okay. So we'll ask some of these. I'll ask the ones that haven't been answered already. It says any tips to give the youth starting out, but I feel like we did a lot of
Yeah,
those.
It's like a mentor.
Get a real job.
Get
Yeah,
a real job.
Real job. Mentor helps, and yeah, figure out what car you want to buy, and if you have the means to make it happen, buy it, but don't like feel compelled to initially modify it. Like, get what you want first, then get the job.
he pretty much asked all of the questions that we just answered in the last 5 minutes, but one of them is, are S chassis cheat codes for drifting, or are the drivers actually that good? That's kind of different. So, meaning, if you buy an S chassis, are you like, is that like a cheat code because it's so good? I would say yes, kind
It
of.
drifts different for sure.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah, I
it's,
guess because it's more rear bias, like oversteer friendly. I mean, from people that, I mean, I'll use like Brian as an example. Like, he had a Fox body Mustang that he was
Oh,
drifting
yeah.
for like a hot minute, and he did like every modification under the sun to like make it drift. And I think he was just driving like a private day with like the Club Loose workers, and he drove like just a bone stock 240 like SR and a welded diff, and he's like, wow, like I just wasted a lot of money.
this is what I
got
wish
rid of it.
Miyagi would do, but he just
'Cause it's
won't
kind
do
of
it.
like, oh, like I just wasted all this money and time, and this car with blown struts and a welded diff still drifts better than my car.
Yeah.
Not saying that like a Mustang's not a good drift car, but that was his experience.
Well, what was that Fox body one too, right?
Yeah,
That kind of is not a good car to drive, I feel like.
it's like S13 coupe from Wish.com.
Yeah. Literally. Favorite drift car of all time? Answered that. Favorite track? Well, not really. S13 coupe or hatch? Yeah, obviously. What do you mean?
It's like
It's
I
a
like
180. Come on now.
I like
See,
them
I'm the
all
same.
except I like them all except Vert and Zenki
But favorite car of all time?
all time.
Favorite drift car of all time?
Like if I had to,
Yeah.
if I had one car only, and I was stuck with it,
Yeah.
hatch,
Yeah.
because I can fit tires. That's really it.
Favorite track you've driven of all time?
Favorite track, definitely got to be Mahon.
I still think that's crazy that you actually drove there.
Yeah.
Like,
What's your favorite U.S. track? I want to know.
Grange.
Okay.
I think you answered that one earlier. Apple Valley.
Yeah, probably.
Grange, US Air, Club Loose. No like particular order, but for the driving I want to do, Grange, most fun, US Air. Just overall like best fun track where you kind of get a little of all three. Club Loose.
Yeah, I would agree with
That's a
that.
good answer.
Yeah.
A lot of these we answered already. Fuck, marry, kill. Jake Parrish, Eric, or Tom?
Answer it.
Wait, who?
Fuck, marry, kill.
Wait, what were the names?
It's
Kill,
Jake Parrish,
Tom.
Eric, and Tom.
Damn. I guess married Jake. He's fun. Eric's looking kind of spicy. Guess he could get the nod.
You definitely kill Tom.
Tom would definitely get killed. Sorry.
Jesus Christ. All right. I just had to do that
Who
one.
answered? Who did that?
Bros did. I forget. This is what's
Oh.
his face from
I know who it is.
Club Loose. Yeah.
Yep.
Locking. Okay, this is Mike. This is young Dave's brother, Mike. He said he wants to know about locking himself out, cutting a hole in the door to get back in of some car. You had to do that on.
Oh my, the
Is
coupe.
that the coupe?
Yeah.
So-
What?
Oh yeah,
You
you brought it
explain
like
it.
that. I remember that.
So I was driving an event at Spirit, and this is right before I had to tube the rear end of the car. I was competing. I washed out like 70 plus miles an hour into a guardrail, like just into a tire wall, just straight, like did not move. And yeah, like the car was like so mangled, the door, like the rod, the mechanism, it like snapped off the plastic. So the only way to like open the door was I like cut the outside, and I would have to pull the rod to get the door to open.
Did you bring the car here like that once?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
I drove it like that for a hot minute till I refreshed it.
You had to like specifically open his door a certain way.
That's fucking next level
Ooh,
shit.
I like this one.
Every time Josh brings his car, there's always something new.
Yeah.
New quirk.
World's best filmer asks, if he couldn't drift an S13, what car would he drift? I'm gonna make this better. If you couldn't drift an S chassis, what car would you drift? And don't say you
Ooh.
wouldn't drift.
Ooh. No. I feel like this question would have came, but I think probably A86 or
Yeah.
110. GZX 110.
Those
8.6
are
is
opposite
a-
ends of the spectrum, but
8.6, you
Yeah.
get that aggressive.
that's
feel,
why
I think.
that's why I'm thinking he
you have
would
to
like
drive
that.
that thing. Man.
Yeah.
Like,
Like what you said before, that's a driver's car.
Yeah.
The
feel
110 is just
that's
like
the
an
one.
aesthetically pleasing car to me. Like
So that's the
this
one
versatile
thing.
arrow that like looks good on it for like raw driving experience. Like A86.
Okay.
It's one of my bucket list cars for sure. I won't
Jimmy.
buy one, but
JY World, Jimmy asks, how has driving more local events this year been going? Sorry, how has driving more local events this year been going compared to traveling? Which is kind of
It's
right.
honestly like that was my plan, and it seemed like I traveled more this year than
Right.
the year before, and it just seems like there was always something going on where someone would want us to attend, and I didn't really get to do like what I wanted to do, like at least like like these events we were doing, like they were like demos, like stuff was covered, like events and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to say no to things like that if
Yeah.
the most burdening expenses are being covered. But I don't know, I
Well, you
wish
did-
like I could have done more local events, honestly.
You
It's
did,
just-
but you did a lot of like East Coast local events this year. I feel like.
Yeah, but when I think local, maybe just because we're so spoiled, like I think of Club Loose. Like that was kind of like my agenda. Like I just wanted to drive Club Loose, like predominantly Club Loose, and then it started that way, like for the
Okay.
beginning of the season, and then it was like, oh hey, like we want you at this event, or we want you to do this, and it was like, all right, like how can I say no? And like the whole like summer and the rest of the season slipped by. Like we're already like approaching November. I'm like shit. Like I only drove like four.
Well, you can always
Club
do
Loose
haunted
events.
moves.
I could.
That's the one I'm trying to get everyone to go to. I feel like that would be fun.
Yeah, I mean the season's like not over, but I still have tires. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing really holding me back. But
Come on, Chris.
Who's
you want to drift?
everyone?
You two. And Miyagi and AJ. I'm
yeah.
living through you guys right now. so
We'll
you have to
answer
go.
that question next year, hopefully.
All right.
Yeah, what's
Last
the-
question
what's
on
the phrase for that? Living through you.
vicariously. Yeah. Zone 97901 asks,
Hell yeah, that's the boy.
that is the
Homie.
boy.
what was Josh's old JZ setup and how did he like it compared to SR? You kind of went over this, but maybe like go into like the actual
Specs.
setup.
Is it a stock
It was
motor?
dead stock, ACT, HD clutch, and it had tripod R154, and that was it.
No upgraded turbo.
And you kind of went over it. I mean,
Just
That
one
was-
stock.
that was another thing we did skip. I wanted to mention earlier. He obviously took the JZ out and went SR at some point. And you did that because of what
Yeah,
you
we
said
kind of
earlier.
covered it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The feeling of the car was kind of gone, and I wanted to do that initially. When I parted out my hatch, I sold my JZ swap to Brian, so I wanted to buy like an SR or like an SR car, and then just the deal for the coupe was too good, and I just dealt with the with the JZ for a little longer.
Yeah.
I was initially the SR that's in my car now. I was trying to buy before I even had a car, and by the time something happened where it sold, the engine was local, and I was like, shit, like I really wanted that engine, yada yada. Months like went by, I was driving the JZ car, and then I saw that engine for sale again, like completely untouched, like it just unfortunately moved from like 40 minutes from my house to 7 hours away, and I was like, all right, like this seems kind of like meant to be, and I just did some crackhead shit. I went up there. The dude actually dropped it off at Shane Latch's house, and I remember he held it for me, and I went up there and I picked it up.
Dude, I
So I
saw
bought
that.
it sight unseen.
I saw that engine for sale. Do you remember that?
That was
I
one from
looking,
Freedom Motorsports originally, right?
Yeah,
I was
and
looking
everyone
for
like
an SR roughly
getting
around
flamed.
that time.
It was like $5,000. It was like
It was $5
It was
grand.
$5,000. I was like, what if that's fucking crazy? Like, why would you spend $5,000 on an SR? Funny, it had 3071 turbo, power seat, injectors, clutch,
Nowadays, that's like
trans. Yeah, and
A
that
bright
that
green
engine's
valve
still
cover. It was a
the
bright
engine's
green.
still in my car, untouched. It has not been pulled. Tom's like fried 30 more motors since then, and I'm still rocking the same $5,000 motor. Like I want to say there's at least 40 events on that engine, maybe a little more. I've just changed oil on it. So if it blew, I wouldn't even be mad. I've got my money's
You got your
out of
money's
it.
worth, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm just thinking about this. It's funny how I was nervous before this because I didn't think we'd have enough questions.
It's been 2
Really?
hours, though.
And I'm sitting here thinking in my head, I still have more questions, and I'm not gonna ask them because it's been too long. But yeah, so this is definitely a good one. I do have one question just to end this on. If you had an opportunity to restart the last 10 years of your life and not get sucked into drifting, would you take it?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Jesus Christ.
It's deep.
I
yeah.
told you I
Sorry,
did my
zoned out.
homework.
Can you repeat that?
Deep.
If you had a chance to basically not get into drifting 10 years ago and restart your whole life, would you take that opportunity?
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, I do want to hear that.
God damn.
Damn.
Yeah, you're deep, Frankie.
Hey man, I do my homework.
I'm
I didn't
gonna
have that.
say no. Like I would stay on the same path because I'm thankful for the relationship that I have and the friends that I have, and honestly, outside of drifting, if I were to stop now, like I have the family and friends that I'd want to keep forever. So if that meant like losing that, then I'm obviously not gonna do that.
Yeah. It is a good way.
That
yeah.
is a good
That
way
was
to
my
end.
end. That was my end
Wow.
question, you know?
Wow.
That was the most thoughtful question I think I've ever heard you.
Well, he'll be back. We have more. I got
Yeah.
more I'm thinking of. So
We'll have you back when we
well,
We could talk about all the shenanigans. I mean, we've
Yeah.
been friends like
Yeah.
a decade at this point, and
Like,
He's basically like one of my best friends. So
yeah, that's what I
we
was gonna
talk-
say earlier.
we've been talking every day pretty much since we met,
Yeah,
whether like we want to think that or not. But
yeah, literally.
we've been in contact minimum.
We got the
like
we got the group chat we've been in.
yeah yeah the glorious group chat. I mean
Yeah,
all the events and everything we've gone
And-
through. Like
I mean, we kind of. I mean, it's good for listeners to
like
hear
my
this
drift
stuff.
journey, you've basically been alongside it like pretty
Yeah.
much the whole way. Like whether, I mean, you haven't been driving the past couple of years, but
Yeah, he's
you've
very mad about it.
supported-
I'm sad about that.
Yeah.
like
Josh gives me shit about that all the time,
I'm
so don't
alright.
worry.
you've been supportive, like economically and like helping me out, like service, like with the car and everything. And I've definitely looked to you for like professional, like more of like the business side of things. And
This guy's gonna make me cry right now on a podcast, a live one too.
Nah, Frank, Frankie
Um,
really do be giving that advice, man.
No, but it works both ways. Me and Josh, like I
Yeah.
said earlier, me and Josh are like kind of. I don't want to say we're the captains of our teams, but we're the ones that like
Captain.
we are kind of the ones that push people to do things and get them to
Take
know.
the reins.
I fucking hate
Yeah.
you sometimes, dude. God damn.
And it's sometimes it's a stressful position to be in.
Yeah,
and I
that's
know
why I'm
Josh
bald.
knows that. Yeah, it's why he's bald. He said.
Yo, I wanted to ask, have you always been bald?
I mean, I've just been
Like-
balding as long as I've been.
And then you
friends
just
with Tom.
decided.
Literally,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say.
I just said fuck it.
I never.
Just easy.
I don't think I've ever seen or met you when you.
Oh,
had
he had hair.
Hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was
And then
like,
once Tom blew his like fourth engine, it started slowly disappearing.
it's all fucking Tom's fault.
It,
No, it just
Kinda.
started as early as like wanting to paint the cage of his car white. 'Cause your cage was white.
yeah. One day we will have Tom and Josh on here, and it's gonna be a shit show. But
Yeah.
that does
We
have
had
to
to get
happen.
the formal ones like out of the way before we get into
Yeah,
the
this
fun
was-
exactly.
This was nice, mainly just because, or well, I don't know how close you and Josh are, but I really didn't know you at all, and like now to kind of know that like there's more to you than just the drifting thing. It's like, oh shit, he's like a normal guy, like
Yeah.
just like us,
Yeah.
or like
Thanks for making me feel subhuman for a second.
celebrity.
Dude, there's so much shit we could go into though. Oh my god.
But nah, yeah.
I'm just thinking about like all the shit we've been like. Me and Josh have literally like texted each other sometimes. Like, dude, like what the fuck are we gonna do? Like just for getting
Just, like,
certain
pivotal,
people.
yeah. Just
Remember like when
pivotal
Justin would
moment.
lose his mind and sell his car, and then like it's like, oh, now I don't have a drift team again. Like, and he would be the one that I would bounce ideas off of because it's like he's in the same position as me in like a team of people that it's a group of dudes that have emotions and ideas that like change like that. So like someone will be like dead set, I'm gonna drift forever, and then all of a sudden the next day they wake up and they want to live in the
Nine
woods.
M3. Oh,
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Or BMX forever and not do anything else. And then it's like, okay, well, me and Josh have these plans where we want to grow our teams and like get bigger in this industry and whatever you want to call
yeah.
it.
I used to get mad about stuff like that, but
Yep.
now I kind of like I just don't care because I'm just in my own world and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Like, if you want to come back to it on your own terms, like so be it. Like,
Yeah, and I'm kind of the same. And we each had our like moment where that happened. I feel like.
I
But-
think the only thing I wish is like if everyone was kind of on the same page that like I was for like a few years at a time, like this could have maybe generated more serious where people would do it more where it can become like a self-sustaining hobby, like in terms of like
Getting
content,
sponsors.
sponsors, things
Yeah.
like that. Like
To make it easier.
yeah, so sometimes I don't know, growth comes in different ways. Sometimes it takes longer than other people. Like we've been doing this like a super long time, but like I'm nowhere like where I would like to be like on an economic level and in terms of like opportunity for drifting. Like
And you have no plans on stopping.
I definitely have no plans on top.
Me either. Good. Okay, so we're gonna keep this East Coast Drift Club stuff rolling.
let's keep it going.
All
Captain.
right. On that note, I guess we're
Do
gonna
you
call
have
it a night.
Josh? Do you have anybody want to shout out or anything?
Oh
or
yeah. Do you have
like
anything
that?
going on this
Anything
weekend or
going
like
on?
events or anything like that? I don't know.
No, I don't think I'm driving anything because
Well, you might do that
Maybe
one
haunted
event,
moves.
right? Lock City.
maybe haunted moves. Yeah, maybe Lock City I would need to like fix the car.
Okay. Well, if you need alignment, you know where to go.
Well, actually, I've been good. I've been trying not to like
Change
touch or
anything?
do anything because I don't have the time to come here, and two, be like, bro, like, what'd you fucking raise it a little bit more? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear like the.
Quickly, I wanted to comment that on earlier when we were talking about Josh's schedule.
Yeah.
Josh would come here on his like minimal free time right before his shift, and like I'm doing his alignment. And for those of you who don't know, when we align drift cars, they're not a quick thing.
Yeah.
Especially between me and Frankie. Like if we test drive it and it doesn't drive straight, we're gonna align it again.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the things that we guarantee with that service. But Josh will come here on a short period of time. I align it, and I'm like, not always confident with it. And he's like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna drive it home. And I'm like, I'm over here panicking. I'm like, I know the steering wheel's off. That shit ain't driving straight. And then Frankie will come out of nowhere and just be like, oh, he says it's good. I'm like,
No, it'll be like the Monday after the weekend, and
Yeah.
I'll just show you a video of him doing a backwards entry or something.
yeah, and
on-
I'm
on
like,
tree turn.
oh, I guess it was good. I don't know.
It's like, all right, he said it was good. So, but yeah, do we have anything going on? That's another question.
Thrash
hold on.
racing seat.
Yeah, we do have.
One
we
pink
still have
glove
2 Thrash racing
and one
seats.
gamma.
Yeah.
Omega. Red.
And
So
I
many
can't.
freaking tabs, man.
Yeah, it's a problem.
That's like my brain. I just don't have a computer. That's why I don't sleep.
All right, I have it here. Calm down, everyone.
No one's stressing.
No, I don't. I don't have it here. All right, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. Check us out on YouTube, Instagram. No one goes on Facebook anymore, and that's about it. Please like this. What do you do? Comment or review?
Like,
review.
comment.
Review the podcast, please. That's the only way we move up in the ranking system or whatever they have going on.
Shout out to those Canadian
Oh,
listeners,
and
man.
Yeah.
recommend some guests for us to have on the podcast too.
Yeah, keep shooting us ideas. Keep shooting us guests.
Yeah,
Like,
shoot it in the DM. We do have a place we write all these down. So
yeah, we love the feedback, and there's been a lot of good feedback.
yeah, a lot of good
Thank you
feedback.
so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you
keep
guys.
the podcast going so I have something to listen to while I'm in the gym because it
This
definitely
is you'll
passes
listen
the
to
time.
us in the
That's
gym.
good.
I'm
Yeah.
fucking.
I'm like hysterical laughing half the time 'cause I feel like I'm there. Like,
Yeah.
Fucking Frankie.
Or Frankie's laughing about something, or like he says like an inside joke that
Yeah.
like, he thinks that you guys know, but it's only me and him, and I'm like,
I'm like looking at them and no one's laughing.
I'll
I'm like,
text-
okay.
I'll text him, and I'm like, bro, like, I can't believe.
Dude, I still, like I'm saying, I'm like delusional. I feel like these guys were like in our friend group for the last 10 years. But then I remember, I'm like, oh, I guess it wasn't like that.
I literally was so fucking scared of you, like
Okay.
the longest time.
Well, we'll go.
And you too. Like I was
Why
like,
me?
damn.
Well, Josh
they're
always
so-
has the bitch
Like
face
I was
on,
like,
so
damn.
what do they call that
They're
face?
so fucking.
Resting bitch face.
They're so
Resting
fucking
bitch
cool,
face.
like,
That was also a
fuck.
question we
Like
got.
that was that.
No, I would agree because the first time I met Josh was at the Edgewater meet,
yeah.
and we started popping everybody's hoods, just roasting everybody's cars, and then like, the amount of shit talk that was happening. And then at the end of the meet, they go, "Oh, you want to come with us to Coach House?" I was like,
that day.
So whose house?
Coach House,
The diner.
like the diner."
Oh,
Remember
okay.
we went to that diner?
Was that when that photo that you have outside?
I don't think so.
Is that the one with the split?
You brought
Oh,
your
no,
S14.
I don't think so. Wait, what?
out.
That's Bendix Diner. That's the one
yeah,
that's
different.
in the Twilight Zone.
Does that have been like 2016?
Did we go drifting that night or no?
I had the Zenki then.
Yeah, the Zenki then. Yeah, but yeah, you guys were like, "You want to come with us to Coach House?"
I
was like,
remember going to that diner because that was one of the only times I went to that diner,
Mm.
and the food was horrible like usual.
But
Yeah.
no, yeah, that was just like a side note. We could talk about that later.
Yeah,
but-
we got way more
Yeah,
things.
we
to talk
have
about.
like 3 more podcasts.
Malcolm's trying to
to
end
cover.
this thing. He keeps staring at me like he's mad.
You're like,
He,
perfect
this
time to
this is
end it, and
this
you guys are like,
this is because Malcolm just you guys will see it in a second, but he set up this perfect thing on our new equipment, the outro. He's got
excited
everything
to use
set.
it.
He wants to use
All right,
this
so
shit.
here
All
it
right,
is.
so click
3, 2, 1. We're
Peace
out.
out.
Woo!
peace out, everybody.